You by Sheehan's Rustproofing. The Chiefs have just come out on the ice for a warm-up period. They're about to try for their 5th consecutive win. They're getting a good round of applause from their own booster club, who have traveled all the way from Charlestown to be here in Peterborough tonight.
Need more energy throughout the day? Looking for a kick to your workout? RockinThatIDLife.com has you covered with delicious flavors you've grown to love in tropical fruit and mixed berry, but now fall in love with the new fruit punch and orange flavors. Try them all at RockinThatIDLife.com.
Realtor Mike Burgoyne with Real Brokerage LLC makes the moving process easier. Work with a realtor who plays and studies the game and will work as hard as the boys on the ice to get you the best deal. Check out Mike on the web at strikewithmike.com and jumpstart your move today. That's strikewithmike.com. Welcome to episode 16 of season 11. This is episode number 392 all time of the often imitated, never duplicated. We're the rug that really ties the room together.
Oh, no Animaniacs.
No,
Not this time.
I can't go to the well every week. Maybe next week.
But
Lebowski.
he wears a disguise, look like human guys, but he's not a man, he's a chicken. Boo.
That's a great reference. I have not literally thought about that in 25 years.
I love Chicken Boo, man.
We're the original St. Louis Blues hockey podcast. Let's Go Blues Radio. How many other podcasts that you can listen to that are going to reference Chicken Boo in the intro? None. Not a single damn one.
Not even an Animaniacs podcast.
No. Special thanks to our sponsors, RockinThatIDLife.com, StrikeWithMike.com, and CenterIceBrewery.com for proudly sponsoring the show. Please check them out. And when I say please check them out, just go there right now and check them out.
Mm-hmm.
Also, don't forget to check out our t-shirt shop at letsgoblues.com for the very best in blues-themed t-shirts at a fair price. It is Wednesday, January 11th, and this is our... no, it's not. I was going to say it's our first show of the new year. It is not. It's our second.
It's our second.
Our second show of the new year. We're streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. To interact with the show on social media, our handle on the socials is at LGB Radio. Just do a search for us. You will find us. And if you haven't already done so, please like, follow, subscribe, ring the bell, do all that good stuff, please. Thank you. And you're welcome. I'm Kurt Price, and my in-studio co-hosts for the big show tonight are Bill Day and Jeff Ponder. This is our first in-studio show since before the pandemic.
Correct.
In studio, yes.
Yeah, in studio. Right.
Us doing it together, though, we did the Cardinals Nation.
Yeah.
True.
But outside of
Very
that,
much.
yeah,
Right.
man, really?
Yeah.
It's really been that long?
It's been a couple of years.
Yeah.
Huh.
I
think
a few years.
Christmas show 2020.
Erica Weston was on, right?
No,
She was here.
no,
In my
She was
office.
here, yeah.
It was Christmas show 2019 because the pandemic began in March of 2020.
That sounds right. Yeah. Huh.
Hmm.
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 How about that?
Things that make you go.
Hmm.
The agenda for tonight's show includes discussion about how about that Jordan Bennington versus the New Jersey Devils.
He sucks.
Yeah. Awashinsky, you knew we were going to talk about that one.
Mhm.
A huge performance by Mr. Greiss, shutting out the Minnesota Wild. A big overtime win versus the Calgary Flames on Tuesday night. And over the last 2 months, the Blues have led the NHL in goals scored. But how's that defense, Mike? Tarasenko picked to represent the Blues at the All-Star game. And Robert Thomas scores a special goal for a young boy who suddenly lost his father. All that and more on this very special edition of Blossom. Let's Go Blues Radio.
Whoa. What the hell's happening tonight?
Welcome to the Jungle Boys. I don't know. When I said this very special edition, I instantly thought Punky Brewster or Blossom.
On this very special edition of Boy Meets World.
Where somebody gets felt up or something, or abused, or I don't know.
Is that going to happen tonight?
I hope not. You guys have a bottle opener?
Actually, yes, I do.
I knew you would.
What do you mean you knew I would? You calling me an alcoholic?
No, you're a Boy Scout.
They are on my car keys at all times. That way, it's easier to drink and drive.
This is what you get when you
That's a bad joke.
when you graduate the Webelos and Boy Scouts.
Yes, that's a winter classic. I think that's between Red Wings and Blackhawks on there. So,
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
The bottle openers?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Mine's
Or no, is that Stadium Series?
Stadium Series. Yeah.
Stadium Series, Chicago. I'm not sure who they played. It doesn't say. Yeah.
Very nice.
Fuck the Blackhawks.
Always.
So I guess we got to say Merry Christmas,
Yeah,
right?
That's why we're doing this.
This is
in
why we're
person.
doing it live, because
Right.
we have gifts that we were going to exchange for each other tonight. So
We've
Merry Christmas, fellas.
We've been trying to do this for a couple of weeks now.
Yeah, it was what, COVID. I had to go out of town.
Probably COVID, but didn't test positive because somebody's got blood.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I was sick for, nasty sick for probably a grand total about 5 days. And it was like off and on for a while. That was weird. But just congested, at least partially, and a cough that would not go away. It was annoying for probably the better part of like 10 days, 2 weeks. Sucked.
That's
But
rough.
I'm feeling much better now.
I gotta say, you still sounded pretty. You sounded fine, but you sounded a little rough, comparatively speaking, last week too.
Yeah, I'm not 100%. I am in the 90s.
Huh.
Yeah.
Would you say you're more like Ryan O'Reilly or like Pavel Bore?
Boy,
That's good. Good.
closer to 190.
Closer to Gretzky.
Yeah,
Okay.
halfway.
Good. Okay.
Maybe a tick above Nedved.
Okay. Yeah. I'm trying to think of a 97. Was there ever a 97?
Connor McDavid.
Connor
Oh
McDavid.
my God. Okay.
Jesus.
I'll see you guys. I'm out of here. I don't belong on a hockey podcast.
Could be when he's retired the greatest player ever.
We'll
be.
see.
Could be.
Could be.
We'll see.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Got to do something in the playoffs first.
Yes, that's true. Well, we want to get started here, boys. Who goes
Yeah.
first?
This was your idea.
All
So
right.
do you want to go? I'll give you the choice. You want to go first or last?
I'll go first.
To give or
Yeah,
receive?
to give.
Okay.
Well,
right.
well, I'm always up for receiving. So this one goes to Bill. And this one goes to Kurt.
Oh,
So here's the deal with
mine's
these
bigger.
guys. You are going to open them at the same time.
because they're the same thing.
Yes. And did you read you got to read the titles.
To the show's least popular host from the second favorite host. That's funny because it's true.
Bill, what's yours say?
Mine is the host to the host whose voice is soft as balls from
Soft as a baby's ball sack.
Carrie Taco.
Carrie Taco.
Yes.
Wow.
There you go.
Love it.
It does have the same color scheme as tacos.
There you go.
Ready?
Yep,
Ready?
here we go.
New pair of shoes.
It is not shoes. They
Tom's.
came in Tom's
We got
boxes.
Tom's.
All right.
But that is not what it is.
You ready?
Here we go.
Are they Crocs?
You wish.
Oh, look at- what is this? Okay.
Open her up, boys.
A reverse retro.
Oh no. You wish.
Oh, it's a
Oh,
hoodie.
It's the hoodie.
It is a hoodie made by our friends over at
hold on.
I'm sorry. I'm drawing a
All
blank.
black.
All black
Black
hockey
hockey
sticks.
sticks.
Thank you. Now look on the hood there at the very top of the I'm sorry, not the hood, the pocket. At the very top, there's another pocket to hold your beer.
Ooh,
Oh, the pocket.
that is very.
Oh,
Yeah, that's a beer holder.
There was a kangaroo pouch to hold your beer. That is
Yep.
awesome.
Yeah, that is an amazing hoodie. I
Hey,
have
Bill.
one too.
We can wear these and be fast like a marsupial.
Yes.
Hold it up. Make sure you guys hold them up for your cameras so people can see them.
Thanks, Jeff.
Yeah, those were so basically our friend Larry over at All Black Hockey Sticks said, "Hey, we got these new hoodies ideas in." He's like, "Would you be interested?" I was like, "Yeah, mock something up." I sent him our newest logo, and he came up with that. And I'm like, "That is fantastic." And he goes, "Yeah, plus it's got a beer pouch in the front."
That's
And I'm
great.
like, "Okay, yes, I will take 3."
That's awesome. Thank you very much.
Yeah, of course.
That's
I'm not afraid of Frankenstein. I'm afraid of Kirk Price. And a Let's Go
this
Blues
guy
hoodie.
Larry. This guy Larry. Does he have a brother
Fast
Daryl
like a marsupial.
and another brother Daryl?
No, he does not.
All right. Well, that's exciting.
Good. I'm
That
glad you
is-
guys like them.
That is all right.
And
So-
that, if your ladies ask, that is why I was asking for your shirt sizes.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Well, now she knows.
All right.
So
I'll go next.
Okay.
With the disclaimer that this isn't the official gift. This is a
Right.
makeshift gift
okay.
until the gifts arrive.
This
Okay.
we really should have went with Jeff's last
Probably.
because his is probably going to supersede everything.
Right.
Finish
I told
strong.
you. I told you I brought my A game this year.
Finish strong, right?
He showed us up.
Right. Should have started with it.
Bill's actually going to perform for us. We got a karaoke set back there. No?
I told you guys on air last week what this was going to be. So
You did?
I did.
I don't remember that.
I don't recall that.
Bill says that he told us that we know what this is. I do. But I'm going to still act like I'm surprised.
You know what? I saw this at an angle. I thought it was a stag logo.
Yeah.
Ah, that would have been nice.
A little bit,
Yeah.
right?
So,
Same time? Or we?
yeah.
Yeah. I haven't seen it yet.
Time.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So that's one part.
Nice.
Oh, I didn't see the other part yet.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I got a Bourbon County in my hand from Goose Island.
It's
Ooh,
got
the brand Bramble Rye Stout.
Yep.
Very nice.
Ooh, I got a caramel ale. Caramel ale. Brand.
It's
caramel ale.
the wheat wine
Yeah.
barley or caramel and cinnamon.
Take a look at that, folks. That is a Jonesy from Letterkenny Funko Pop. This is my first Funko Pop.
Congratulations.
Yes.
And Kirk got the Riley.
Yeah, the Riley.
I don't know. I think you made the right call. I think I like Jonesy slightly better.
I went by
I think
hair
I like
color.
Riley.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I
there
went
you
by
go.
hair color.
Okay.
So I thought,
Cool.
Very nice. This is, hey, these are great. Kidding me? These are fantastic.
So I got Goldberg here.
Nice.
Oh, nice. Hold that Goldberg. Hold Goldberg up to the camera. Yeah, that's pretty nice.
Yeah. Gonna go next to Goldberg.
This is great for our listening audience.
Yeah, right. and Tarasenko and O'Reilly too. So.
Oh, nice.
Very cool.
So basically, if you own a Funko Pop of somebody, they will get injured.
Or get addicted to meth.
As
But
the case of
recover.
Goldberg.
Yeah, he did recover nicely. Good to
Yes,
see.
he did.
Hopefully he's still on the
We got
on the wagon?
Ken Morris saying, "Good evening, Blues fans. Good evening, Ken. Very good to see you." And the Meeker says, "Hi, Ken." Hello, the Meeker. Thanks for saying hi to us, you jerk. All right, now Kurt's up.
I forgot who's. Okay. All right. This one's for Jeff, and they're slightly different. There's a couple things in the same, but they're
Apparently, it's my birthday.
yeah. Happy birthday! And
Wait, are you Jesus?
I hope Bill likes the Avengers.
Ooh.
The Avengers bag.
Yeah, because I haven't seen a single one of these movies. Oh, yes, I
Are you
have.
serious?
I've
You haven't seen one?
we saw.
We're gonna play that game right now.
We saw.
You haven't seen this?
Yeah. I hate when people say
We
that.
saw something. We saw one of them together. Civil War.
Are we opening together here? All right. Oh, you actually did. I was just wondering that. Like, I wonder if he got me one of those oranges.
Yeah,
The chocolate orange. I'm
Yep.
going to try this tonight.
It's a reference from a last show.
Yeah.
Right? Last show.
Man.
yeah, last
Yeah.
show.
Damn it. Now I regret the choice of the beer I gave you because I still have the chocolate orange Bourbon County.
Oh, that would have been perfect.
But no, I get to enjoy it.
Yeah, right.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Terry's chocolate orange, which
Oh
of.
no.
so
this
You-
is bad news for me.
you being a Seinfeld fan, right? The black and white cookie.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what that's from. It's not a random bakery item.
The black and white cookies from Kirk Price. Thank you
Yeah,
for all the sweets.
Jeff and I'm sorry, it is, but
That's okay.
Jeff and I will reference Seinfeld on the show quite a bit. So.
Yes, we do. Ooh.
Ooh, some Pink Whitney. I like it.
Yeah, that fits in your back
Ooh,
pocket.
a
So
plate-
or
oh,
fits in the
man.
pocket of the.
Yeah.
I hate that I asked you for a glass tonight.
Well, I
It's
was
a
gonna say, open your present
PlayStation
early.
Glass.
Yeah, you guys. You're both PS5 owners, so
Nice. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
PS5
Very, very cool.
pint glasses.
And I got some of this too. Kurt and Bill, we're getting messed up on some Pink Whitney tonight.
Reminds me of Sunrise Brewery because a number of times they did the whole Pink Whitney cocktail thing that they.
Yeah,
mixed for
Adam
the
always
bar.
wanted to do Pink Whitney shots after Blues goals too.
Yeah. It wasn't just it was a cocktail. It was something else. Was it?
Well, there was a couple times he had us do shots with them.
What's her name? The bartender, the female bartender. Forgot her name.
Sam?
No, I don't think so. It was a long name.
Marvin?
Morvan? Mulva?
Mulva?
Dolores.
We don't reference Seinfeld on this show.
But yeah. But I think it was a cocktail they had, or I could be wrong. Maybe lemonade plus regular lemonade plus that plus a Sprite. I don't know.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But
But it
no,
was-
these
it was
are
good.
these are awesome gifts. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Welcome.
Thanks, everybody. You
Yeah.
guys are great.
Thanks. Merry Christmas, fellas.
Yes. Merry Christmas to you as well.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas 2022.
That's awesome. I'm excited.
All right. I guess we can do the official beers of episode number 392. You can follow each of us on the Untapped app. My handle is CPrice12. Jeff says J Ponder 94, and Bill's is Billy Blue Note 33. And Jeff, sir?
No, it's Bill.
Oh, Bill, sir. Sorry.
Yeah.
I was going right to left for some reason.
Mm.
It's right to left on the screen. I was going right to left here, but
Do you
it's
want us to switch
left to right.
seats?
No, it's God, no. We had a hard time getting this set up.
Ah.
What do you got, Bill?
So I don't have a Bell's Stout. It's just a Bell's glass. I am drinking Big Yeti from Great Divide out of Colorado. It's a Imperial Stout, 25th anniversary edition of their iconic Imperial Stout. It is damn good.
What'd you call it earlier? Proper. Yeah, proper.
It is a proper Imperial Stout. First drink, like I took me back to Old Rasputin, which is the first true Imperial Stout I ever
The-
had.
Lover of the Russian Queen.
Yes.
Right.
Cheyenne.
Cheyenne.
Cheyenne was her name.
Yes.
That comes from Amy watching the show right now.
Okay. Yeah. See, she's good for information. Like
Yeah. Yeah. She's good for the like non-hockey information.
that. I want to like be half offended by that for her, but
I think
no, it's
she'd-
true.
she'd
It's true.
agree with
she'd
me.
agree. Yeah. She's trying though. She's
She
trying.
is. No, she's great. She joined us for trivia and guessed Gretzky a couple times and did a fine job.
Producer Amy.
Producer Amy.
Producer Amy. There you
Austin
go.
has some competition.
Watch out.
So, and she is. I think the extent of her fandom is Ryan O'Reilly, and she's quite upset that it's. Would you say quite likely he's not going to be here next season? So
Yeah.
That's every time we talk about that, she shuts it down.
Yep. I don't blame her.
Sticks her head in the ground like a.
My
ostrich.
wife's the same way. She loves O'Reilly. And O'Reilly and Bennington are her two favorites.
Yeah.
And whenever people bitch about Bennington, she gets mad. When people talk about O'Reilly leaving, including me, she gets mad.
Yep.
So,
I mean, we're not making him leave. We're
No.
not signing. We're
Say,
not.
I
like,
would love for him to stay.
I would love for him to say it too. I mean, for the right money. I mean, if he signs a team-friendly contract next season, a 1-year deal or something to make it work,
Right.
I'd be all about it.
Yep.
So,
Right.
Brandy Capone says there was a keg of Pink Whitney. It was a mixed drink. I know it well. The hangover from that lasted forever. And she says it was Pink Whitney, vodka, pink lemonade, and Sprite.
I was like spot on. I said vodka, lemonade, and Sprite. Or right? Didn't I?
I don't listen to you.
The Pink
I
Whitney,
don't know.
Sprite,
Let's-
and lemonade.
Let's rewind the YouTube.
All right. Everybody
sure.
rewind.
Yeah.
We'll wait.
Yeah.
And more of that girl also says, I'm not offended. It's true.
Okay. See,
Figured she wouldn't be.
I didn't think I was stepping on any toes. there.
My beer of the episode is our friends over at Schlafly, the White Lager, which is just I like my winter drinks, and even though it doesn't feel like winter today,
So yeah, I thought you were
it's-
going. I thought you were going with the racist route.
I don't think there's anything I can say that'll not
Speaking
get me
of-
in trouble.
Speaking of racist,
Oh boy, here we go.
I saw a was it old Millstadt beer at Schnucks?
Millpond?
Yeah, from Mill Pond.
Yeah.
I'm just Millstadt in general.
Right.
That's my
Right.
connection there.
Yeah. No, for sure. We used to go to the vet there in Millstadt, and my favorite thing to look for was if the sign for their coon hunters club was posted
Yeah.
that week. So I haven't seen that in a very long time.
The label for old Millstadt looks just like Old Milwaukee. It's very similar.
Okay.
So that's the play.
What do you got tonight, Kurt?
I have something I picked up the other day at Schnucks, and I had not seen this before. I've had the O'Fallon Naughty beer, which is a pretzel wheat beer, and I saw they have a chocolate covered pretzel. So it's a chocolate natty right there on the screen for the viewers.
How is it?
It's good. It's good. I'm not sure if I like it more than the O'Fallon natty pretzel.
The regular natty.
Yeah, it takes away some of that pretzel flavor
Yeah.
and adds some chocolate, which is good. It's just different.
To chocolate malt, or is it actually chocolate?
It is. Let's say pretzel. What does it say? It said, they're it's chocolate because they worked with chocolate.
Oh, nice.
When I
love
say
a collaboration.
when I say chocolate, I always think of closets.
Yes.
From what's the show called?
Family Man?
Matter-
No,
not
Family
Matters.
Family Man.
It's Amy watches it. I watched it. I
Modern Family.
Modern Family.
Yes.
that's
Ah.
right. Yeah, I said Family Matters.
Yeah. See,
The Christopher Walken closet. You can put your clothes in me.
I'm like, are they still? Did they close this?
They're
over?
done. Yeah,
They're done?
they ended
Probably
about
recently.
2 or 3 years ago.
Is
I
that
think.
long ago?
Yeah.
Because I stopped watching it probably 5 or 6 years ago.
yeah, I've caught an episode here or there of it.
7
Just-
years ago.
and I laugh every time. I just never got.
Yeah,
into
my
it.
wife during the lockdown, she had me watch I think there's 9-10 seasons at least, right? I think we
it's
got
gotta
through
be.
about 5, and we just stopped watching because we got hooked on something else. But
Yeah.
it's a good show.
It is a good show. It's
Yeah.
really funny. I gotta pick it back up again. Eventually, I'm sure I will. There's 10 million shows out to watch though.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's hard to do.
We're watching. We were watching the Blackbird show right now with Ray Liotta. It's like his last
Yeah.
performance.
Ah.
We just watched.
White
man,
Lotus. Have you seen White Lotus?
No.
White Lotus.
Julie watched it, and I just every night. She's like, "You need to watch this."
It's very hard to kind of explain in detail, but it's weird and funny, and
So it's like this show.
it makes you very uncomfortable, exactly like this show.
Oh, so exactly like this show.
yeah, and you end up hating everyone.
Oh,
the show.
so yes.
But you like it. I do anyway. And
you
it's
literally are describing the show.
yeah, right.
show.
Right. So I binge watched season 1, watched the entire season 1 in one night. It's only 6 episodes.
Okay.
I think it's 6. And then I watched season 2 over a few nights, and it was 7 episodes. So it's
We watched
caught
a
up.
show recently called The Yellow Jackets.
Yes, we.
Did you watch that?
Yes, we just finished that.
I liked it.
Yeah.
It was fucking crazy.
Messed up.
Yeah, real messed
Oh
up.
my god.
Yeah.
What's her name? Wednesday Addams. So creepy.
Oh God, what is her name?
Christina Ricci.
Or
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, so creepy.
Yeah, she was so weird in that.
Yeah.
Like the minute she comes on screen, I'm like, okay, she's gonna be a crazy one.
Yeah.
welcome to KMOX Drive Time Radio, guys.
Yeah.
Right? Yes.
Yeah. So
Why don't we take a break?
So I just finished season 2 of Slow Horses. If you have Apple TV, highly recommend it. It's a British spy show, but it's Gary Oldman. And he plays this the leader of this misfit unit of spies, and he's brilliant. Absolutely love his performance. You could smell how he looks in this show. It is great.
Usually that's not a good thing. Kind of like
Austin-
Jeff. You can smell how he looks.
Austin
Right.
Lynch says Jenna Ortega is Wednesday Addams. We're talking about the original. Well, not even the original.
Right.
The one from the 90s.
Yes.
That played Wednesday was
When-
Christina Ricci.
Right, because
when
there's a show out
Angelica-
now.
Right.
when-
Yeah,
when
yeah, which
Angelica
I have not seen yet.
Houston
I've heard it's good.
played
Yes.
Morticia.
Right. Now I'm going to comment on your hat, Bill. Your Blues hat.
Mhm.
Now that's a Blues logo with the pointed wing,
Let's take a look at
and
the
it's
camera
got
there, Bill.
and it's got St. Louis written on it. So that's a very specific logo.
Mhm.
That's
This is 90. It's a 93 logo.
that's right before the curved the rounded edge wing tip. Of
Did
the,
you see the what's under the bill there?
what's under the- what's under Bill's bill?
under Bill's bill?
It's a mashup.
Okay. All right. Okay.
So
Yeah, he's got the
Yeah.
the horn logo from
That-
the late 90s.
That is a matchup because that blue note was not on that jersey.
no.
That blue note, because the blue note was on the jersey was rounded wingtips.
Yep.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm a logo hound. So
Yeah.
Good guys. Matt Harris. Okay, I'm here now. The show can start.
all right.
All right. Well,
let's
hey,
get going.
welcome to Let's Go Blues Radio.
We've been waiting.
So yeah. Jordan Bennington sticks it to Wyshynski and the New Jersey Devils. We'll discuss that on the other side of this break. My D Life. You're listening to Kurt, Bill, and Jeff on Let's Go Blues Radio.
Every beer league hockey night, I grab my hockey bag and sticks and throw them in the trunk of my car. And the very next thing I do, I mix up a boost of energy courtesy of RockinThatIDLife.com. It's formulated to break up its delivery in 3 ways, which helps me get through all 3 periods of hockey. Phase 1 provides a rapid onset of energy, concentration, alertness, and motivation. By period 2, I'm receiving a dose of sustained energy, increased focus, metabolism, cognitive function, performance, and feelings of well-being, which I need with the way I play. In Phase 3, I'm getting fatigue protection without jitters and crash, an elevated mood, and a reduction of fluid retention to help me make the big play when it counts. This same triphasic approach helps me when I drink it during work hours or simply just for a pick-me-up when I need it. Try one of the 4 energy flavors by visiting RockinThatIDLife.com, but make sure to email Dustin at RockinThatIDLife@gmail.com and tell him Let's Go Blues Radio sent you to receive an additional 10% off your order. That's RockinThatIDLife.com. So, coming out of break, Mr. Austin Lynch says, question for the boys, are you all making the Nashville trip April 1st? I have not officially done anything with that.
I haven't either. I know when the schedule was first announced, Amy and I looked into it, and she looked into it, and she said that rooms were scarce.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if something else is going on that same weekend or whatever that's kind of like booking shit up. So if you do want to go, you may not
probably want to set this
as
up
close as you want.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It could, I don't know.
Or pay a little extra.
Yeah, whatever. I'm sure you can get a room somewhere or a Airbnb somewhere, but whatever.
Yeah. No, I was planning on looking in the next 2 weeks.
I do want to go. So Austin is going.
I think so.
Okay.
So yeah, maybe the 3 of us should try and figure something out.
I think.
Have you looked at Airbnb? I've had a friend that had that happen, and like they went into an Airbnb and real close and had a great time.
Yeah, and I said that you can go on Airbnb. I think Amy looked some of those up too, and that's an option.
I swear I was listening.
Yeah, I don't. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah,
in one ear, out the other.
Sorry, I'm reading comments because we got a lot that came in.
Yeah, I get you.
No,
fine.
I've done Airbnb on like longer term vacations, and it's been really good.
Yeah,
we did it in Lake Tahoe the first time. It was amazing.
When I worked for a company based in New Jersey, I used to do Airbnb every time. The one I did make a mistake once. I thought it was a full apartment, but it was just a bedroom. That was weird. Staying with like a lady and like 2 other guests, and I was like, this is kind of odd. So I made sure to be busy until like 11 o'clock at night, and was like, okay, I can just go home and sleep now.
I'm confused. You said you rented an Airbnb and it was just a bedroom?
Yes, they do that a lot.
Okay.
That's one thing you have to
But you weren't
avoid.
sharing with anybody?
No, the bedroom was mine.
Okay.
But the apartment.
Oh, gotcha.
The apartment had
Gotcha.
it was
Okay.
the main lady who lived there, and then there was like 2 other guests with us.
So tea with Miss McGill,
Miss
right?
McGill.
Yeah, right.
that kind of setup.
Yep.
You had your own room,
Yep.
Your bedroom,
Mm-hmm.
and then the rest of the house was common.
Yeah, like there was one time where there was nobody there, and I was like, "Oh, sweet!" So I like went out and I got my laptop out. I'm sitting there doing work, and like everybody walked in within like 5 minutes of each other, and so I like get up to like, "Okay, I'll just go to my bedroom," and they're like, "No, hang out. We just he just got beer, so we're gonna hang out for a little while," and I'm like, "I don't know any of you. This is weird. Just let me go, please."
I don't like people.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say no.
I don't mind hanging out, but it felt so weird. Like we're all confined in this space. Like, I can't just be like, oh, hey, no, I gotta go home.
Right.
That's where I'm at. I have to be there. So I'm like, what do I do? I need to get out of this situation.
Not to make this awkward, but the last time I was with 4 people, 3 didn't survive.
That's what I should have said. Matt Harris says I'm gonna be at the Blues. He says I'm gonna be at the Blues 2 weeks from tomorrow. I don't know if that's
in
Is he going to be in Arizona? Maybe.
Yeah,
They're going to be.
That's
Okay.
a West Coast swing. Or
Okay, so he'll
an
be at the
Arizona
game
swing.
in.
If Brandy Capone is still listening, I think it was her. We're talking Airbnbs. I think she has a crazy Airbnb story.
Oh, does
she? I think she mentioned it on the air one time.
Okay.
And we, yeah, I think that was her.
Didn't she win some prize from us because we asked like the best
yeah.
comment?
Yeah,
And
That
she
was-
had something
yes.
about an Airbnb.
Yes,
That's right.
And found out more about it. It's a crazy ass
It
story.
was
I think that was hers.
It was
Okay.
It was tickets to the ball game
Yes, that was
through Joe.
That was
Yeah.
a good prize
Yeah.
through Joe at
That's
Cardinal
right.
Nation. Yeah.
Yep. Matt Harris, I'll let you all know how Mullet Arena is. So yeah, that's clearly where he's going.
Yeah.
Apparently we missed our 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?
It's 10:03.
Yeah, Austin's giving us trouble about that.
It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?
4 minutes. 4 minutes.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's all right.
Yeah.
Well, it's 10:04. If you don't know where your kids are by then, they're dead.
If you didn't know at 10 p.m., you probably don't know at 10:04. So
We got Southern Illinois University Edwardsville commenting here. How do you pronounce Calgary?
what? Calgary? You just said
That's
right.
that's how I
You're right.
pronounce it.
You
Calgary.
pronounce it like the referees did last night making the calls.
Yep.
I love that.
Where'd that comment come from? Oh, there it is. Southern Illinois University Edwardsville. You know what? I probably know who that is.
Yeah.
I don't think they're that's funny. But that's
Joe
how he was
Bray's
listening.
video says this show is so popular, universities listen.
Yeah. Somebody was
It's actually the broadcasting class they're listening right now. So this is how you don't broadcast.
I think somebody might have been logged into the wrong YouTube account when they commented. That's pretty funny. Or it was on purpose. That's that. I like it. I like it.
I haven't read this yet, so I'm gonna read it now. We got Matt Harris. I had a really nice Airbnb in St. Louis that was more like a hotel suite. When I visited before moving here, I got a B&B that was a Star Wars themed bedroom in a family of seven's house. Mixed reviews, he says.
Wow.
I've stayed at Airbnbs before, and I've had no problem. It's been
Yeah.
good.
Yeah,
I
I
know-
said that was the only, and it wasn't a bad thing staying with other people.
Yeah.
It was just odd.
That is weird, and that was. I would assume that was probably in the write up. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, I looked right when I got there and I saw somebody else inside. I'm like, huh? And I went in and I looked and I was like, oh my God, it says it right there.
It's
And I
almost like a
just
bed and
missed it.
breakfast kind of thing.
Yeah,
little bit.
it was odd.
So yeah, and I'm sure the vast majority of the time Airbnbs are just fine. People have stupid stories with hotels and motels too. So whatever.
Yep.
Jordan Bennington.
That's our goalie.
Plays God versus the New Jersey Devils. Like that.
Yeah.
I mean, allowing 3 goals and still playing.
Oh, I get it
very well.
because they're the
Right.
Devils.
Right.
I get it.
And the
okay.
whole play on words thing.
Ah,
Wow.
Right. Trying to be clever.
I like it.
Not my best.
You might say he was our savior that night.
Oh,
So-
there it is. There it
And
is.
that is, yeah, that's, I like that.
So did Jesper
13
Bratt
years of
try to
Catholic school
give
get
him
you.
an apple that night? No, that didn't really work either.
Bennington was stellar in the Blues 5-3 win versus New Jersey last week. It's not too often a goalie allows 3 goals and people are screaming for him to get the number 1 star. What were the 3 stars that game? You know, remember?
I didn't even look.
Yeah, I didn't look at it. I remember, but I don't think he may have gotten a star, maybe, but he was really good.
He should have. He played very well.
He played very well. Greg
He shoved
Wyshynski.
it up Wyshynski's ass. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
Greg Wyshynski, who was a writer for ESPN, and has been outspoken about how bad he feels Jordan Bennington is, and actually arrogantly confronted members of this show, and Jeremy Rutherford, to be honest.
Jeremy Rutherford's just some guy,
Right.
compared to us.
Blues beat writer for The Athletic.
Oh, okay. I guess he is important.
About that topic, when we suggested that he watched the games, right? Just watch the games before making comments like that.
And again, you say Rutherford, but also Alex Ferrario was another
Yeah,
one
another one.
from 1011 that
Yep.
was like, dude, watch the damn games.
Right.
And he was just tossing aside everyone who actually does watch in detail every single Blues game.
Right.
You know, what you guys are viewing doesn't matter because I have these numbers.
Yep.
That says otherwise.
That
And
is
I'm
all
like,
that
"You're not
matters."
watching- It doesn't. I mean,
These numbers that are currently making my argument for me.
Yeah.
Binnington stopped 36 out of 39 in the game, making a number of fantastic saves. One of those coming again. One of those goals they scored was a 5-on-3 too. So, power play. So, how's that one taste, Wyshynski? And I had a tweeted out to him like, and I'm like, see what happens when you actually watch the games. He allows 3 goals, doesn't look stellar on the box score, but he was. And I didn't. I think I just said something like, your thoughts on Binnington's performance in this game, and I tagged him. Silence. He replied to nobody who was tagging him, and so
I just typed in Wyshynski STL Blues and like Wyshynski Binnington, and you weren't the only one that did that. There was a ton of people that were like, and some people like not even being dickheads. And like, I don't think you were. No. Like, I think a lot of people were literally like, "Hey, man, you've been on his case all year. Like, what do you actually think of the way he played against your team tonight?" And no response.
Nothing. Yeah, didn't respond. And to me, the silence was deafening. It was all I needed to hear. Him not responding at all was better than him complimenting Binnington.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
When was it that we played New Jersey? What night was it?
Well, it was
a week ago.
Thursday.
Last Thursday. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So it was the day after our show last week.
Yeah.
So it wasn't. I don't know. Was there a wrestling show on? Because that probably took precedence for
Mystery Science Theater 3000 marathon or something.
I don't know. Maybe
I would give him props for that. But the wrestling bit.
No thanks.
So I thought that was just kind of. I mean, and I said at the end of last show, I wanted the Blues to beat New Jersey so bad, and I wanted Binnington to play well. Just because I know he's watching the game, right? And if he hadn't seen Binnington play all season, or rarely play the season, he was going to see the entire game this time, probably.
Yep.
And it was perfect.
Yeah.
Couldn't have worked out much better.
Oh, I said the same thing. I was sitting there on the couch, and there's like 3 minutes left, and I'm just got this big old, obviously I'm happy the Blues are winning.
I do think they call it a shit-eating grin.
Yes, it was a shit-eating grin. And I'm sitting there, and my wife Jessica just looks at me, and she's like, "Well, you're happy tonight." And I was like, "You have no fucking idea. Like, this feels so good."
It feels like it's like beating Colorado.
Yeah.
Yep. Or Chicago when they're good.
Mm-hmm.
So after starting the season on an absolute tear, the Devils have struggled for the better part of a month or so plus. Came back to the pack in their division and has slipped to a wild card spot before winning the last 2 games. And they currently sit in second place in a really, really tight Metro division right now. So, because they won, what was it? How many did they win in a row? 13?
13
wins in a row.
That's what always happens.
Right.
You win that many games in a row, and you become at the very best, very average right after that winning streak.
And I told people, I said, as soon as they lose a game, they're going to lose like 3 out of 4 or something.
Yep.
And then they went on a very bad streak for a while. So that was kind of
unless you were the late 90s, early 2000 Red Wings,
right?
You always came back down to earth with a thud,
right?
Let's see. My goodness, Austin is just he's trying to be funny in the chat, and he's just not. Trying to give me trouble. And sorry, Austin. Just not working.
Bruce Navich. Steve Bushnavich.
Steve Bushnavich.
That's where.
Let's see. Brandon Thomas says, "Leave the witty comments to Bill, guys." He says, Austin also adds, "No need to watch the games. Just look at the stats." And yeah, Joe Bray's videos, which is your friend Chris Bray.
Yeah.
I like that. Bruce Navich, good player, sick backhander versus Toronto in the shootout.
Steve Bushnavich.
Yeah, so Bruce Navich is actually, you guys know the reference to Bruce Navich?
Do not.
Iggy.
Oh, yeah.
From TMA.
TMA.
That's how apparently he called him Bruce Navich on the air.
Yeah,
and they're like, wait a minute. Is that what you think his name is?
We can't let that go.
Yeah.
That was funny.
So it was the actual radio version of Kurt calling him Steve Bushnavich.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. The terrestrial radio version, I guess. So after the New Jersey victory, the Blues did lose to Montreal 5-4. Much to Bill's dismay, probably don't want to talk about that too much.
I mean,
it was not a good game.
The fact that we couldn't pick up a fucking point against the shitty Montreal Canadiens, right? That's losing badly in the 2
Yeah.
games we played against them.
Yep.
I mean, it pisses me off.
That's the thing
because
that-
it greatly lessens the chances of Montreal getting Connor Bedard, which is what I think that team needs to actually put them back on the relevance map. But
Well, Colorado, and they're struggling this season, but they can't beat Vancouver.
Yeah.
I think they've lost to them
3 times,
2 or 3
I
times this
think.
season.
Yeah.
Well,
And I'll say, man, it wasn't so much, honestly, because clearly the Blues have not had the best season yet so far, at least. It's not the fact that they lost to Montreal; it's the way they've lost to Montreal. I mean, they looked like they weren't even in the same league as the Canadiens.
I know, it was so strange. Montreal looked really good.
Yeah.
They were all over they were puck hounding. They were gap closure was amazing. They were, white on rice. Blues couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
Who did I watch them against the other night? They were wearing their blue unis. The Kraken.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And the Kraken made them look fucking terrible.
Yeah,
and I'm like, and granted, the Kraken are having a great year this year.
They are.
But I'm just like, wait a minute. This is the same team we just saw play against the Blues. Like, there's no way.
Yeah.
And then they didn't have Jake Allen and they had Montebo in.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Like, that was crazy to me because he got hurt, I think, the day after practice with the Blues, after the Blues game. But yeah, I'm like, this is the same team that just shit kicked the Blues, made the Blues look bad.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
And the Blues team that played really well against New Jersey,
pretty
well against New Jersey, and then Bennington had a great game, and then they lose to Montreal. It's like, and we can talk about the goalie situation.
I was wanting to ask you that.
How I think we talked about on the show last week about how Greiss is going to go against Montreal, and then Bennington would go against Minnesota. It's back to back. It just seemed like common sense to me,
right?
But it didn't happen.
Yeah.
But
common sense,
and
which is why it's not common,
right? And it makes you wonder how things would have worked out. Because actually things did work out where we won one and lost one, but it was backwards.
And we won probably the more important one,
right?
Yeah,
playing Minnesota,
not giving Minnesota 2 points,
right?
Give any points,
yeah,
right. So
and I'll say, man, the same way I thought, and I said this when the Minnesota game started. I'm like, man, I just feel like this is such a weird thing for Berube to put Bennington in against a bad team that's not even in your conference, and then your backup against a team that you're chasing in the standings.
Right.
And clearly, again, end of the game, Greiss gets the win, gets the shutout, plays very well. And, Blues played pretty well against them too. But, people were saying, what's that now? Like, kind of jokingly, like nudging me, like, what you got to say about that now? And I'm like, at the same time, I'm like, yeah, okay, it kind of worked out. Blues ended the road trip, 3-1, pretty solid. It's exactly what you wanted.
No, it was perfect. It was great.
But at the same time, I'm thinking, there's always that what if. What if it would have been reversed? You put Greiss in against Montreal. Again, Bennington's your better goalie, so chances are he doesn't do any better, but you never know. And then you put Bennington in against Minnesota. Maybe you win both those games. I don't know. It worked out in the Blues' favor either way, but it just still felt like a very odd decision by Berube to do that.
If you ask me again, if they were going to play back to back in a couple weeks against Minnesota and Montreal, I'd say the same thing. I'd say, now granted, Greiss did shut Minnesota down,
Mm-hmm.
so I guess that would play into my. But I would really be on the fence as far as do I go with Bennington against the division rival. Because we played Minnesota earlier in the season, and Bennington was in goal, and we lost.
Yeah.
And so
we played them on New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
Right.
And we lost badly.
Yeah.
And Bennington played poorly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that may have factored in the decision. I get it. But it's still a division game, a big game, and you have a number 1 and number 2. Clearly.
I think what it came down to was Berube rewarding Bennington for his strong performance against New Jersey, right? Roll them right back out there. And, it was another one of those performances where it's like he could have been better, but you don't blame that loss on him.
No.
Right. That's Yoel Armia's goal. Jake Neighbors blows a tire, and Armia just You know, there's no gap closure. I forget who. I think it might have been Bortuzzo, but there's no gap closure and just a perfect snipe. And it was that kind of night for the Blues, right? It just Montreal capitalized on mistakes.
Yep. And that's what they did when they played in St. Louis too. It was like every chance they got, they just capitalized. I think they had a 5-on-3. Slavkovsky scored a goal. And every chance they got, they scored.
Yeah, it was just a matter of, you know, I think the Blues didn't get a whole lot of bounces in the Montreal game, and we got every bounce in the Minnesota game.
Yeah, they did.
Oh my God,
right?
Oh my God. Yeah, speaking of Minnesota game, Greiss did shut out the Wild 3-0. Greiss.
And hey, let me just add, last week there was the conversation after the Hofer signing. We said, you know, what I said, the only way that we'll see Greiss back next year is if he just shuts out every team every time he plays for the rest of the season.
So far, so good.
Well, I guess he was listening because it's worked out for him so far.
Against Minnesota, it was Greiss versus Gustafson. Fleury didn't dress. I think they said he was attending to a family matter.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't even dressed in the game.
Yeah.
The Wild had 35 shots, dominated third period, outshooting the Blues 23-4. Greiss was amazing.
That third period was
they didn't
the
stop.
most lopsided performance I've seen. And
They just didn't stop coming.
Right.
They kept coming.
And they got no bounces either, right?
No.
Posts, crossbars.
A post and a crossbar, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And Greiss was just on everything.
Yep.
Square. He was square every chance he got. A lot of shots came his way that were good shots, but he was square to the puck and just gobbled it up.
Right. And between Kaprizov or Kaprizov, sorry.
Kaprizov.
Capri Sun and Boldy, you thought for sure Minnesota had 2 goals in them. There was a point when there's probably about 12 minutes left. I'm like, this game's getting tied.
Oh yeah.
You know,
and Boldy is scary as hell. Yeah. I mean, obviously Kaprizov is too, but adding Boldy to the mix for the Minnesota Wild, whew, look out the next couple of years.
Blues had 4 shots in the period, got the only goals in the third period, both by Braden Shen. The first with 6 minutes to go was a backbreaker for Minnesota, I thought. I mean, we're up 1-0. Minnesota is like throwing everything in the Blues but the kitchen sink, right? And they can't score, and then Shen comes down and scores after killing that penalty, right? Mm-hmm. So it was just, oh, God.
Bill, you mentioned last week that, after the Toronto game, that was the first game the Blues had after O'Reilly went down and Tarasenko. And you were like, you said something about that's what you want to see from the leader of this team. And yeah, my God, this game here, again, Braden Shen coming up big for this team and proving that he's a leader for these guys.
Yeah, I told my dogs, because that's who I watched the game with now. I told them last night, that's the next captain of this team.
I think it is.
The second that Ryan O'Reilly's gone, Braden Shen is named captain.
I've been saying that for a couple of years, that Shen is the guy who's captain of O'Reilly.
Yeah.
I have a friend who, after Pietrangelo left, we were having the discussion, who's the next captain? Clearly, everybody said O'Reilly. He was the one guy going, I think Braden Shen's the guy that deserves it.
I thought that Shen should have gotten consideration, but
he may have.
Yeah, coming off of a Conn Smythe win though.
Yeah, how do you? I mean, it was a year delayed, but still, right? I mean, Pietrangelo was on the team still the year after the Cup. People forget that. I think people think that we won a Cup and then Pietrangelo left.
No, it was a year.
We had him for a full year.
I think we like to all try and forget 2020.
Yeah, because the shortened season, because of the pandemic,
and Bowmeister,
14 games, 18 games, whatever it was.
Yeah. And then the fucking terrible bubble, which, man, in hindsight, does that not look like one of the weirdest decisions, weirdest things to happen in this sport?
Yes. It sucks because the Blues.
Hey, Montreal got to the Stanley Cup final.
The Blues were having a great season.
Yeah. Totally derailed.
It derailed.
Well, the Bowmeister thing totally derailed it.
That first year in the bubble.
Oh, that's right.
That was Dallas.
It was because that's right. Because we didn't go to that.
Yeah,
we were at Center Ice Brewery
for the Toronto and Montreal.
Yep.
Yes, watching with Toronto fans.
Yeah, that was good stuff.
They were pleasant.
No, they were
cool.
Great.
But it was
Shared
the
some
one
drinks.
night that my Jesperi Kotkaniemi Montreal reverse retro was relevant.
Yeah, you had the jersey
because he had the game winner in overtime.
Yeah, that was great.
What happened the next year, Bill?
Bergman got fired.
Yeah, and was it Kotkaniemi sign? What was it? It was 20. It was the Sebastian Aho number, the offer sheet.
Yep.
Right.
So yeah.
Saad scored the Blues' first goal of the game on the power play in the first period. And, people like to say that Minnesota dominated this game. But really, it was just a third period.
Right. It was the third.
Yeah. But that's the last period they remember this game, and they forget the first two because the third period was so crazy.
I think it's called recency bias.
Recency bias.
Yep.
Right. They forget that the Blues. And, if you so the Blues were actually ahead on expected goals for the vast majority. If you like advanced stats, expected goals scored in this game for the Blues, they were ahead of Minnesota the entire game up until the very end of the third period. So Minnesota caught them at the end, I think. And so I think halfway through the game, the expected goals for the Blues were 2.21 and Minnesota was 0.982. That was the halfway mark.
I've watched a fair amount of Wild games this year. I just happen to catch them when they're on, and I'll watch them. And I feel like they had their asses for the first two periods.
Yeah.
Like we say that about the
Yeah.
Blues. We don't really say that about the opposing team much.
It was like 6 shot, 4.
They did not look good.
That was going to be my analysis of the second period of last night's game.
Yeah. Yes.
Minnesota only had a few shots in the second period too, and they completely turned it
they
around.
just did not look like a team invested in the game. They looked completely out. The Blues were dominating, and it seemed like that was a wake-up call, which we'll talk about the Calgary game here in a minute.
Calgary.
I feel like happened to Kyrou after the first period in that game. A wake-up call of, holy shit, you guys are playing awful. Get your heads out of your asses and go play some hockey. And that's what they did in the third period.
Kaprizov played over 6 minutes, 6+ out of the last 8 minutes of the game.
Yeah, it was insane.
Yeah.
It was 2-3+ minute shifts.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Isn't that just crazy? I mean, we've all played with that guy. They can literally almost play the whole game, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like, this is the NHL. Right. There's games where I've seen Connor McDavid literally go off and take a 30-second rest and go back out for like the last 14 minutes of a game. And it's just, how are you that in tune with yourself to where you can do that?
For people who aren't really familiar with it, an NHL shift might last 45 seconds, on average or so. And if you're out there for a minute and a half, that's long.
Yeah.
You need to get off because you're going to get tired. And playing 6.5 or whatever it was, last 8 minutes is crazy. He averages about 20 minutes plus a game, which is that's the top forwards in the game they play 20 plus. But he got 26-39 of ice time in this game.
It's ridiculous.
He averages 20-48 per game, which is the most of any forward for Minnesota.
But the puck was always on his stick.
It always
he had 6 shots.
He was a massive impact player, just couldn't get it past Greiss.
He had 6 shots, and I went back and looked at the chart, 3 of which were high danger. So I mean, he was all around the net.
Yeah, he's scary. He's one of those guys, and clearly there's plenty of guys in the league now, but I think back to the division rivals that we've had over the years, right? Like clearly. Still, at a certain extent, Patrick Kane falls in that category. But I'm thinking about guys like Doug Gilmour with the Maple Leafs, and I don't know, I'm trying to think of somebody else. Neil Broughton with the North Stars.
Yeah.
Like thinking about Steve Yzerman, clearly with the Red Wings. Like the puck's on their stick, and it's just. God damn it! The Blues are about to give up a goal.
Right.
That's how I felt every time Kaprizov had the puck.
Datsyuk Zetterberg. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So you brought up Neil Broughton. I mean, how great was it seeing Minnesota in those jerseys?
Oh, right?
Every time that and I think Darren Pang called it out. Who is it? Who's the number 2, the young defenseman for Minnesota? I can't remember his name, but every time he got the puck, Peg said, I keep thinking Craig Hartsburg because
Oh,
he wore that, and I'm like, yes. And it was Craig Hartsburg, and then who was the guy? There's another guy, defenseman that the Blues signed in the early '90s, that wore number 4 for them.
You thinking of Addison?
Yes,
Merle.
it was Addison.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I saw that, I'm like, oh, how? In like when I was playing the updated version of
Yep, I was
NHL
just thinking
94
that.
tonight, and
On the
every
arcade
time-
behind Bill over there.
Yes,
Yeah.
on the arcade behind me, and every time Tyler Bozek got the puck, like it's Jeff Brown.
Yeah,
And-
playing
or-
that updated NHL, because I have the one from, I guess that was NHL 18 maybe, where they
Okay.
had the updated rosters for the teams, and actually so they had O'Reilly's. It's probably NHL 19, I guess, when they did that. And yeah, seeing some of those old numbers when you're
Yeah.
playing the NHL 94 version, you're thinking, am I playing the original NHL 94?
Yeah,
Right.
Uh,
Yeah, I've got the Genesis version of NHL 94, but it's the 2022 teams and rosters at the end of the season. So
So they still have David Perron.
they do.
Ville,
Who's so?
or as
Yeah.
as what's her name? Alexa Dat, Ville, who
Ville, who-
Ville Huso. Very
No,
fancy.
Kurt laughed at me.
Yeah.
You weren't here yet, Bill, because I was playing. And it was like the second period, and I finally noticed the goalie's number 35. And I'm like, 35? Who the fuck is that? And then I go, oh, yeah, Billy Huso.
it was Brent Johnson.
Right.
Johnson. Hopefully not.
Kaprizov's ice time at the end of this game kind of shows how much they wanted to win this game.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You don't burn out your top player at the end of a game, but you really want to win this game.
Yeah. I've not like Jeff. I've seen quite a few Wild games this year. Dean Evison has this other level of desperation against the Blues.
Yeah.
You just don't see it on his face like you do.
What's
when
our
they're
record in
playing us.
Minnesota? Is it in Minnesota? Last
Yeah.
it's Minnesota, right?
Yeah.
15, 16? No, Toronto. That's Toronto.
No, we're talking about Toronto.
Toronto's pretty crazy. But
Yeah,
it's like-
we've
but-
lost one
like
game in regulation
13
last 13, 14 games.
Right.
In Toronto.
13, 1
Yeah.
and 3 or
right,
something.
Minnesota, because we have playoff experience
Right.
up there, it's not as good, but we still frustrate the hell out of them in their own.
Oh,
building.
I can see. We talk about Dallas. I think Minnesota probably hates us too.
Yeah.
Dallas, I could see them being like, God, I hope we get the Blues in the first round so we can steamroll.
If
them."
I were a
I bet
Dallas fan,
Minnesota thinks the same thing.
if I were a Dallas fan, I mean, maybe they are. I mean, but if they're not, how in the hell is the Blues not your number one hated team?
Oh, they have to be.
Over the last 5 years, the Blues have just broken their hearts.
Well, and
in
we've
the
all
playoffs
seen
twice.
we've seen the Blues get steamrolled in a elimination game in the playoffs before. But like the Blues did that. Was that 2016?
They steamrolled
They
Dallas. Yeah.
steamrolled them in Game 7. It was like 6-1 or
Yeah, it was
something.
bad.
And then they come in and they get the overtime win with Pat Maroon.
Oh my God.
I mean, good God, I would be like, fuck you, St. Louis.
Yeah. After Jamie Benn had the wraparound that didn't go,
Andrew
and then
Cogliano had that
Cogliano had the
chance.
wide open net
Yep.
that he just missed from in tight. I mean,
Yeah.
and we've talked about it a lot, and no one ever talks about the Cogliano shot ever.
Yeah.
It's always Jamie Benn. I mean, Cogliano, that's a goal.
I think that was a better
99.
chance.
Oh God, yeah, not even
Yeah.
close. 99 times out of 100, because Bo Bennington stopped Ben.
Mhm.
He
Right.
stopped it.
And Cogliano
just missed.
choked.
If he puts it on net, anywhere on the right half of the net, it's going in.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
he missed
So I have a friend at work who
from 8 feet out.
who is a massive Dallas sports fan.
Gross.
And between the Blues dominance of the Stars and David Freese and the 2011 Cardinals, he hates St. Louis sports with
He should.
the passion
Oh,
of
yeah.
a
He should.
million suns.
He should.
Right?
Oh, I remember. So when I lived in Dallas, I moved down there in 2013, and I was wearing a Cardinals hat. Didn't even think about it. I was like, "Oh, Dallas, they don't have an NL team, whatever." And I remember just walking into a Kroger, and a guy just going, "Hey, fuck the Cardinals," and I'm like, "Okay,
Okay. I'm just here
And
to
then
get
later,
apples.
I'm walking out, and I hear a guy go, "You better be from St. Louis," and I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Okay, well then I won't give you trouble for being a Cardinals fan."
He wasn't
I'm like,
you say he was an employee?
no,
I was
it's
gonna
just a
say.
guy. No,
Oh,
it's a
shit.
guy walking. So I had to ask him. I go, this is the second time in 10 minutes somebody said something to me. why do you guys all hate the Cardinals down here? And he goes, are you serious? And I was like, oh, I was like, David Freeze. I'm like, holy shit, I feel like an idiot.
Yeah. I'm just here to get rice roni. Leave me alone.
Yeah, right. I was like, shit, I guess I can't wear my Cardinals stuff as much down here.
You know what? I would wear
I
it.
did.
I
wore
would
it
wear
every
it with pride.
day.
I'd make me want to wear it more. To be
Oh,
honest.
I did.
I'm
I wore it all the time.
that kind of guy.
I probably wore more Cardinals hats the year I was down there than I ever have in my life because it's always a Blues hat.
Yeah. Like when I was at I tell people when I was at Disney when the Blues were in the Cup final against Boston, I was there for a couple games, and I wore Blues gear, shirts and hat.
Austin, you on this in the chat here?
Oh, we're getting spammed. And I wore gear, and I got lots of comments. Good comments. Nothing bad. Mostly from fuck Boston.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Beat Boston. Fuck Boston.
No, I say it all the
Good
time.
luck, St.
That's my
Louis.
favorite part about that. Like it's funny. I was even talking to a coworker now who's from Montreal, lives in Minnesota now. He's from Montreal, right? So he's got to be a hockey fan. And he was telling me, he goes, yeah, I'll admit, man, 2019, I was rooting for the Blues. And I go, let me guess, you're a Canadiens fan. And you just didn't want the Bruins to win another one. He goes, I could have been a Senators fan or a Sharks fan. I would have been rooting Blues because I hate Boston. I'm like,
who doesn't?
You and everyone else outside of Massachusetts.
Yeah, everyone hates Boston. I love it. I think Boston, but I honestly, Boston fans love it. They love being the villain.
Yeah. I love being the villain
I do too.
myself.
Well,
I understand.
They can now because they've won so much over the last 20 years.
It's
prior to the Patriots winning, like
they had Celtics. They had Celtics,
but that was in the late 80s.
Right.
When I went to school
in the 90s was bad.
Right. When I went to school in New England in the late 90s, they were the whiniest bunch of bitches of all fucking time. Right.
The Patriots weren't winning. The Celtics weren't winning. The Red Sox hadn't won in forever.
The Bruins couldn't do shit.
Yeah, hadn't won.
Cam Neely had to retire. There was so much Ulf Samuelson.
Too many throwing water bottles.
Yeah. Well, it was too many, no cartilage in your knee because Ulf Samuelson took you out a couple times.
Ulf.
Yeah,
Imagine naming your kid
Ulf. Yeah. Swedes and Finns have the best names.
Yeah, they do.
Just
Ulf.
Ulf
is a good name.
Yeah. What about Uwe Krupp?
Well,
he's German though. He's German. Uwe.
I would say Uwe Krupp.
It's yeah. I think Germans actually pronounce it Uwe.
That wouldn't surprise me, but I think it was always pronounced here Uwe Krupp, wasn't it?
Uwe Krupp.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness!
Who scored the Stanley Cup game-winning goal in 1995? Colorado over Florida. No, 96. Colorado.
Uwe Krupp.
Yeah.
Ken Morris says, when I wear my Blues cap in Bangor, Maine, I always get a remark or two. I've been told in Bangor, Bruins caps are preferred, but Rangers and Canadiens caps are okay.
A remark.
I said remark. Yeah, didn't I? As I was reading that, I'm like, damn it. Remark.
It's so funny how when you read something and it's a word you've said 1,000 times, right? But you're like, oh, you put the wrong emphasis on the wrong syllable.
Right.
Yep.
And I'm sure Ked's like, it's banger.
Yeah. Who's from Bangor, Maine?
Jim
Montgomery.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. I was thinking of a movie character.
He went to Maine University.
Yeah.
I was going to say Bangor, Maine is the home of Julie the Cat Gaffney.
Yes.
It's a weird tidbit of information that I know that Montgomery went to Maine because he played here for the Blues. So for a little bit.
So, and I was corrected many a time. When I went to school in New England, there was a guy from
Bangor.
It's
Banger.
Yeah.
Like the song's a banger.
Yes.
Huh.
Yes.
Well, Julie the Cat Gaffney doesn't know how to say her own city.
What
she says? Julie from Bangor, Maine.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I was corrected several times.
Is it spelled
by a
O-R?
guy from there?
Or
Bangor.
Yep.
It should be Bangor.
It should be. It looks like it should be Bangor.
Should be, but it's New England.
Right.
So, yeah.
Bunch of assholes.
Sounds like a happening place. Bangor, Maine.
Destination Bangor, Maine.
Stephen King is from Bangor, says Ken Morris.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I thought he was from what's the name of the town that he always
fictional.
Say Wantaneo.
No.
You do remember the name of the town, don't you?
Say what now?
That's from
Shawshank, which is a
Shawshank, that's right.
Stephen King short story.
Yeah.
and we come full circle. That's how we operate on the show.
Mm-hmm.
So we're due for a break. After this break from strikewithmike.com, we'll discuss Bennington and the Blues coming from behind in the third period to beat Calgary in overtime. You're listening to Let's Go Blues Radio.
A magical 2019 playoff run, I was in the midst of buying my current home. Every time I spoke with my realtor, obviously, home buying was the discussion. But in the back of my mind, I couldn't stop thinking about what was destined to happen for our St. Louis hockey team. If only there were a realtor who could have walked me through the process, held my hand when needed, but was there to be a sounding board when I wanted to complain about a certain hand pass goal. Let realtor Mike Burgoyne with Real Brokerage be that for you. He'll have your needs top of mind as he skates you through the home buying or selling process, dangling you past any obstacles, and assisting on all your home goals. Check out strikewithmike.com for more information or give him a call directly at 314-753-4060. That's Mike Burgoyne with Real Brokerage at strikewithmike.com, and that number again is 314-753-4060. Don't forget to tell Mike that Let's Go Blues Radio sent you.
Thomas scores in overtime to beat the Flames 4-3. You guys want to talk about that a little bit?
Nah, let's skip it.
Okay.
Nah, that's too recent.
Too recent? Yeah. Next show.
Not recency bias.
Yeah, we've had too much of that.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
This game was Bennington versus Markstrom in net. Nazem Kadri made his return to St. Louis. Fans were rightfully booing him every time he touched the puck.
What a bunch of racists.
Yeah,
right?
racist assholes.
Yeah. Booing a guy who's a cheap shot artist and a complete asshole on the rink, but they're racist.
Yeah.
Luckily, I didn't see any of that last night, but it's also because it was Flames fans and not Avalanche fans.
True.
Fucking,
There
sorry.
Okay,
There-
okay. I agree with you, but let's be clear. There were a handful of racists.
Oh yeah.
that attacked him
100%.
online.
Yes,
Right.
no, I
Yeah.
agree. But the fact that after that, when people were
You get
booing
labeled.
him and like jumping on him on social media, like that guy is a cheap shot artist. Well, you're saying that because you're racist. Jordan Bennington threw a water bottle because he's racist. And it's like,
the humanity.
ah,
A water bottle. Empty
yeah.
water bottle.
that drove me. We've talked about it too much on this show.
I love the water bottle thing.
I do
The
too.
empty water bottle. I fucking love that he did that.
I do
And
too.
It's so funny to me.
Yep.
Because it's not going to hurt a fly, right? And he just walks by, empty water bottle, chucked him while he's on TV being interviewed. It's so funny.
Yeah, I know.
How do people not find the humor in that?
I know.
It's so hilarious.
Right. And Nazem lost his shit and cried about it.
Lost his
on
concentration
national
on
TV.
air. Yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
Ben just threw a water ball at me. Whatever.
Yeah.
I don't care.
And we've talked about it. That's the best part of the JF Electric commercial.
Oh yeah,
Right.
100%.
Yeah.
I remember when they like I think they put it up on YouTube or something and promoted it. So I saw it before it aired, and I saw he says, "Do I look nervous?" and all that. But man, when I see him throw the water bottle, and it's clear too that he like purposely misses O'Reilly by like 15 feet.
Right.
That I'm like, okay, that is fucking hilarious.
I'm opening my second beer. This is like one of the few beers I'll actually drink out of a can.
Brewski.
I'm kind of snobby. I like to pour it out into a
Yeah.
glass, right? I
Yeah.
don't like drinking beer out of a can ever.
Mhm.
But yeah, those
But
citrus shandies.
Yeah, from
Oh,
for the brewski from Excel Brewing, I think it is.
Yep.
Or, yeah, people that make
it
ski.
is- yeah.
Yeah.
It is so damn good.
So I got a friend that always brings me Yingling, which
Have you had the chocolate? Is it chocolate porter Yingling?
Yes.
Mm-mm.
Oh, I want to try that so bad.
he just brings me
Fuck you,
the
Tommy.
generic Yingling.
You need to ask him for chocolate porter Yingling.
Well, it's going to be sold here very soon, like within the
I
next
know.
month.
okay. Well, still.
But yeah, every time I see him, he like brings me Yingling, and for some reason, Yingling to me, I'm like, I'm just going to drink this out of the can. I don't
So-
put that in a glass either.
Oh, really?
That's what I should have brought you then. Because I got tired of it.
I'm not that big a Yingling person.
I'm not either.
I have.
I don't
I
really
have-
get why he
I've
always
heard
has to
the
bring me
Hershey's,
Yingling.
the Hershey's porter. I heard is really good.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And again, fuck you, Tommy.
right. He said he had a whole like pony keg of it. Right. It was a.
Right.
I'm like, holy shit. Invite us over. Nothing. Thanks, Tom.
I don't know you, Tom, but fuck you.
Known Tom for a long time. Nice guy. Just he shows off this, brags about having a pony keg of chocolate Yingling, and
Never
the invite never came. I was like, what's going on?
The girls never came. Eurotrip fans, anyone?
Oh, a long time ago.
I
I think I was working at the theater when that came out.
Yeah.
What year was that? What year was that? Oh,
No,
the scene when
3, 4.
the main character is freaking out because he thinks he's having pot brownies, but he's actually just having regular brownies. You find out later.
Let's be fair. Regular brownies are really good.
Yes, and so he's
be.
freaking out,
Yeah.
and he just jumps up on the table, he like takes his shirt off, and he's like, "I saw gay porno once. I just kept watching, thinking, oh, girls are gonna come. The girls never came. The girls never came."
Did you finish? Did you finish?
And Brandon Toma, that's not the one I meant to show, but had it damn good. Got it from an AB employee, ironically.
The Hershey's.
I'm
Yingling,
guessing he's
probably?
talking about the chocolate from Yingling.
Yingling.
What I meant to display is this one here from Ken. Not that I would have shown that to Brandon. Two of the players I truly dislike on the ice at the same time, Kadri and Milan Lucic. Somebody called it the suspension connection. I saw that online.
Yeah, I saw that.
That was awesome.
Is that old Fabry's hair, Robert the Tank Engine? Is that him?
Maybe.
I
don't know.
I don't want to take someone else's credit away, but
Yeah, and I don't want to give him any credit.
no.
Kidding if you're listening. Or am I? I'm only kidding. Only like 39%.
This was a good game. I thought. I afterwards, based on the advanced stats, Money Puck's simulator, which the deserved a win-o-meter, which I like looking at sometimes. It's interesting. They simulate the game 1,000 times based on all the advanced stats and the high danger scoring chances and all those blah blah blah. And they see who would win. And it was dead even, 50-50, like 49.2% to 50.8%, something like that. It was crazy close. And so Blues scored first early in the game, 3:50 in on an odd man rush on the power play. Bushnevich was on the rush with Thomas, Falk, Shen, and Kyrou.
And who was in the box?
Who was in the box?
Well, Kadri was in the box first.
Kadri was in the box.
And then I remember who the second.
Well,
penalty
because there was the two penalties canceled each other out, one for the Blues, one for the Flames. So it was a power play for the Flames for like 5 seconds.
Right.
And
Zadorov, wasn't it?
Zadorov?
Might have been Zadorov.
Okay. All right. So and Bushnevich gets credit for this goal. His shot was actually a backdoor pass to Thomas that went off the Flames defenseman Chris Tanev's skate and past Markstrom. But later in the second,
Brandon Tanev?
No, it's Chris.
Brandon's on Seattle. He's the one with the funny faces.
Yes.
Okay.
He's a fabulous he's a fabulous forward with a funny name.
Yeah.
Yes.
There you go.
There you go. Price Fister Faucets people. Anybody?
Mm-mm.
Oh. Later in the first period and into the second, the Flames scored 3 goals in a span of 7 minutes and 18 seconds. 2 in the first period and 1 early in the second. The first was Lucic scored for Calgary on the rush. We talked about this goal before the show a little bit. Got Calgary on the board and tied the game with Blues 1-1 on a backdoor pass from Nazem Kadri, who carried up left wing. Huberdeau drew coverage in the middle as he was driving up the slot, and as Calgary came in 3-on-2. Simple backdoor play. Parayko and Mikkola were defending, and on this play, 3-on-2 is not ideal, what you don't want. I mean, it's not terrible, but and you guys, this is the way I saw it. If you guys disagree, feel free. But I don't think we played this poorly. I just thought it was a really good play, a good pass, good execution.
Yeah, I was actually going to say on this play. I mean, it was just a quick turnaround for Calgary. Blues had pressure in the zone. I think it was Mikkola actually had a shot blocked.
Yep.
And then it just came the other way. And Coach Ponder will tell you, this is how you execute a 3-on-2.
Oh yeah.
You have a guy basically driving. You got the guy driving to the net like Huberdeau, who basically acts as a
decoy.
Thank you. Yeah, you get it. You
I'm a
played
hunter.
the game.
I'm a hunter.
Yeah, right.
That's not true.
No. So yeah, he acts as the
Kind of
decoy.
looked like it today.
Driving to the net.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah,
I see that.
Stripes.
Yeah.
There you go. And and then as much as I hate to give the guy credit, Kadri looks up, sees Lucic hitting the back door, and just a fucking perfect pass. You could make the argument maybe that can get blocked by one of the Blues defensemen. I think Mikkola had probably the better chance of blocking that, but I said it before the show when we were talking about it. That pass is right at the post, the far post, and Lucic has just a tiny bit of room to put that puck in, and it was just perfectly executed.
Binnington comes across, and I did a pretty good job of getting over, but I mean, Lucic put it, I don't know, 10 inches.
Watching on TV, he had that much room to put that puck in,
6-8 inches. It was just, and he put it in. It was a good play by Calgary. And when I first saw the play developing on replay, I'm looking at it, I'm like, well, Kadri's passing.
Yes.
And my first thought was, Binnington probably could have cheated a little bit and anticipated the pass across, but Huberdeau's in the middle, like you said, decoy. So he's got to respect that. He can't cut across early to anticipate the pass to make the save on Lucic, who, honestly, it's back door. You got to trust your defenseman's going to have that guy, right? So you can't slide across, and then all of a sudden Huberdeau gets the pass. And then you're kind of sliding off your
You're
angle.
giving him so much room on the short side.
So I thought Binnington played this pretty well. It's a really well executed play by Calgary. You tip your cap. That's a good play. And then Backlund scored for Calgary less than 2 minutes later. Great deflection up and over Binnington, top shelf from outside the top of the crease by Backlund on a point shot from Zadorov. Schenn had coverage on Backlund here, but to me, the problem was Schenn had his back to the shooter. He turns and looks at Backlund and doesn't see the shot coming. He turned to tie up Backlund and just didn't tie up his stick well enough. He had a stick on him, but it wasn't good enough and didn't know the shot was coming. So Schenn maybe plays us better.
You watch the replay and you look at Zadorov getting that shot through. It's like there's no way that shot should get through. Like, there was coverage on him. I don't remember what forward it was that had him. Might have been Sod. I can't remember. But somebody had coverage on him. It's like, how did that puck even get through? Because there was a couple bodies that went through, too, before it got to Backlund. And it's just one of those seeing eye pucks that just found its way through. And
great deflection.
Yes, unbelievable. And like deflection. You said, Schenn had him, and I'll agree with you. I think Schenn could have played this a little better, had a little better body position.
Yeah.
But, good on Backlund to be able to deflect that puck while still being kind of covered.
And it goes under the crossbar.
Yeah.
It's
great deflection.
Yeah, it's tough.
See, my experience when this goal was scored was the Chris Kerber delivered experience.
Okay.
I was driving home.
And he scores.
And it was, basically. It was Zadorov to the front of the net, and they score. It was, and then afterwards, just great deflection. Zadorov throws it into traffic in front. Great deflection by Backlund. And it's both of those plays. I heard, like I told you guys before we got on air. I watched all of the Blues goals as out visiting my mom for the first period, for the beginning of the game, and I saw the Blues, the Buchnevich goal, Steve Buchnevich, great backhand pass that and then drove home and heard the Flames goals, and then I watched the third period, so I got to see all of the Blues goals, and it sounded like, just from listening to it, that after the Blues scored, Calgary just kind of dominated play. Like, they took advantage of the bounces, and it certainly, like the feel I got from getting in, watching the third period, that Pang and John Kelly were very much Calgary has taken advantage of everything in this game, taking advantage of the bounces, and clearly Kadri's pass to Lucic, they kept going back to it and just saying what a great pass it was, right? They're giving credit to the villain, and I hated that.
Yeah, I get you.
But You know?
It's easier to do now that the Blues won. So, right.
Right.
And I feel like the Blues, like, they still were fighting back. They had some good chances on Markstrom. It was back and forth a little bit. I mean, again, I agree with you that Shen needs to have better position, tie up that stick, and not allow him to get a stick on it. But at the same time, I mean, the Blues were coming back, playing hard, and you felt like, okay, get out of this period down 1, right? And come out in the second, have a strong start to the second, and you're tied. This game's an easy tie.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly, that's not how it went.
Well, no. Because a minute, 2 seconds into the third period, Mangiapane scores for Calgary. Just early and late goals against in periods are killers, as Darren Pang will tell you every single time it happens.
Yes.
Right. And let's pause for a second on Mangiapane. That's got to be one of the top 5 best names in the game, right?
I was looking forward to saying it.
Right.
When I typed it in the notes,
Right.
I'm like, looking forward to saying this name on the show.
Why don't you go ahead?
Mangiapane.
Say it again.
Mangiapane?
I'm
saying it right.
Say it
You
slower.
No. You sound like you're that guy asking for foot pictures online of somebody.
That's exactly what I'm
and you
doing.
slowly ask for more and more. Okay, now go outside and take your shoes off and press the gas pedal down in your car. Give me that one.
But isn't the literal translation of his name "eat bread"?
I think so. Yeah, actually, I think that's right.
That's unfortunate.
It's like it sounds poetic,
Right.
when announcers are calling it. And,
Was he in a fraternity?
right? And
Did he eat the bread?
deep hockey inside joke.
Right. Oh. What's it called? Elephant Walk? What was it? Elephant Walk? You've heard of that, right?
Yeah.
Where the guys line up in a row and
Yeah.
you know, elephants walk in a line, they hold each other's trunks.
Yeah. Oh my.
Circle jerk.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's
With
like
the
an
bread.
initiation for a fraternity kind of a thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always heard it was related to one of those Detroit junior teams from the late 80s,
Okay.
early 90s.
Hockey teams do shit.
Yeah.
You know, Federico told us
Oh yeah.
kind of in confidence about it after that event at
There was
Kirkwood. What was it?
Kirkwood
Golf
Station.
course?
Kirkwood Station.
Oh
Station.
yeah.
Yeah, when we were all sitting around the table.
Yeah.
Yeah, about getting shaved.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Getting shaved down below the waist by being held down and shaved.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But that was, I mean, that made its way into Hollywood movies.
Sure.
Right.
Yep.
That kind of thing.
Youngblood,
That was common.
right.
That was apparently very
Yep,
common. Yeah.
It was.
Paging Dr. Sutton.
Yeah. Hold them
Yep.
down and shave the nether region.
Yes.
Mhm.
Shave the all-togethers. Manscape them, basically.
Mhm.
Yes.
How the hell did we not ever reference Youngblood when we did that? We had Manscaped on the show.
I actually think we did.
Did we?
I
Okay.
think we did.
We should have.
Paging Dr. Sutton.
I'm pretty sure.
I think we made a comment
Poor
about like how this
Victoria.
is
He had
not what you
such
see in
potential.
Lundblood. This is what you want to do now.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. That could be a great summer series like episode. Just compare and contrast hockey culture from the 2010s and 2020s to 1986 when Youngblood was made. Right.
Oh God.
My goodness.
Riley and Jonesy
Yeah.
are the bush inspectors, right?
Yep. Yep.
And they're gonna find you.
Yep.
Yeah, just
All right.
weird tangent.
So Mangiapane's goal, the Flames have the puck behind the Blues net, and the Blues lost coverage bad on this one. This goal pissed me off.
This one was I said, and I still stand by it, all the bad goals we've seen this year, this ranks.
It's up there
This was bad.
as just careless coverage.
Yes.
It's just and
You had 5 guys down low.
and to me, I watched this over this 10-second play, right? 25 times. I'm just rewinding, watching. I'm like, okay, so where's everyone at where they're supposed to be, you know, and who messed up? And so all 5 Blues players were down low. 3 were either at the end red line or behind the goal. Rosen and Tucker were in front, kind of off to the right post a little bit, covering Blake Coleman. Kyrou was too deep on this play, and he's puck watching. As he ignored, so he ignores Mangiapane, who was behind him, and coasted over to try and block the centering pass from behind the net. He didn't block it, and it got through, and Mangiapane scores from a high danger scoring chance in the low slot over Bennington. Nice execution by Calgary on the Blues' failed coverage, but my God, if you watch this replay go to the website, watch the replay, blatantly obvious, horrible play by Kyrou. Mangiapane is coming out from behind the goal, and Kyrou is coming right towards him, just coasting, watching the play, see what's going on. And when Mangiapane comes out from behind the goal and comes to in front, he's shoulder to shoulder with Kyrou. Kyrou never acknowledges his presence there. Completely never looks at him. Total puck watching behind the goal. Mangiapane drifts back a little bit. Kyrou keeps moving forward, then goes down trying to block the pass, and the pass comes to Mangiapane, who is wide open because Kyrou didn't stick with him. Kyrou is covering nobody. The Blues defensemen were on the puck carry behind the goal. I don't know where Kyrou was going.
The Blues defensemen weren't even on the puck carry. That was Rob Thomas that went behind.
The defensemen were in front of the
defensemen were just standing on the right side of the net. They weren't doing anything.
At least there was a Flames player there. But the thing is that Kyrou went from an area that needed coverage to an area that already had coverage. And the area he already left is where the goal was scored from. This boils down to him not evaluating the scenario and understanding who needs to be where, and letting his teammate do his job behind the net, who's on the puck carrier, and you do what you're supposed to do. And you cover the guy in front that is wide open. If you leave him, don't leave him. And that's
Mangiapane. We were just talking about manscaping. Mangiapane, when he received that puck, he could have pulled out a fucking Manscaped device, pulled his pants down, manscaped all the way across his fucking balls, and then shot the puck. That's how much time he had.
He may have.
It was ridiculous. He had all the time in the world.
And the refs are out there, trying to clean up afterwards.
Yeah, and the refs are they got the little pan, and they're
the dust
sweeping.
Yeah.
Kyrou's still just kind of circling around in the wrong area. The players are all standing on the right side of the net. It was bad. That was bad. Who was the other forward we haven't even mentioned?
Thomas Kyrou,
probably
Buchnevich, right?
Steve.
I think it was Buchnevich.
Probably.
Buchnevich, Rosen, and I had a problem with Kyrou, don't get me wrong. But Buchnevich, Kyrou, and not Kyrou. Rosen and Tucker. All and listen, I know Tucker's a rookie, and I know that we're playing a lot of AHL players right now, but my God, they just stood on the right side of that. I guess expecting the guy's going to wrap around and send a pass in front. I don't know, but they're not picking anybody up. They're just standing there waiting for the play to develop. And again, you mentioned Thomas just chasing the guy behind the net, which again is also the wrong play.
Thomas is he's on the puck carrier, which I don't have a problem with.
To follow the guy behind the net.
Well, the defense isn't going back there, so I don't have a problem with that. Based on where the players were and covering for each other, I don't have a problem with that so much. And the Rosen and Tucker were kind of covering the same guy, Blake Coleman.
They were standing there waiting for a pass to Coleman.
Well, and it happened kind of fast with Mangiapane, so I don't necessarily blame the defense. Even though they are partially to blame, right? They're not. They shouldn't be side by side.
To blame.
But I think Kyrou to me is the guy because that's his man. He comes in, he's trying to help out, and he goes into an area that already has coverage and vacates an area where this coverage is needed. That's all. And leaves the guy wide fucking open. No. Okay. So there was nobody else wide open on that play except for the guy that Kyrou was right next to and left. So
yeah. Well, yeah. I didn't like the play by anybody. I thought they all played it incorrectly. They weren't moving their feet the way they should have been moving them. And again, maybe Kyrou's not picking that guy up. Tucker or Rosen or even Buchnevich need to look up and say, "Oh shit, that guy's wide open moving to the slot."
Yeah. Well,
somebody needs to make the right play, and none of them did.
The defense being on the same side of the goal made it possible for that area to be open. So they could have been a little more spaced out. I get it.
My question is, why do you have 5 guys collapsing on the goal like that?
That was bad.
The point men were wide open too.
Mangiapane pinched in. The 1 point man. Calgary had 4 guys down low too. So that kind of sucked the Blues down low. But the thing is, there was a point guy wide open too. And Mangiapane slid out from behind the goal, and he was wide open because Kyrou ignored him when he came out. And then everybody else being kind of pushed down, you can't spread out and cover that quick. It was a bang play from behind the goal. So Yeah,
Just a bad play.
it was bad.
Very bad.
It didn't look good at all.
And like you said, I was pissed. I at that point I was so mad that I considered even just turn the game off for 5 minutes, collect yourself, and get back and watch the rest of the game because that really upset me. That was terrible.
Well,
coverage.
yeah, and it was a 1-goal game, and it's early in the third period. You think, okay, have a good third period. Let's tie it up, and we'll move from there. And then, boom, a minute 2 in, they score to go up by 2. Like, motherfucker.
Yeah,
that's exactly what you did not want to happen.
Mm-hmm.
The exact opposite.
Yeah.
So
and I was just going to say, as the guy that didn't see that play and only heard it described and after the fact, hearing that it was Rosen and Tucker as the defensive pair, like
that was
there's no chemistry there.
That was the pairing, though.
I'll say I bet
for the game.
Kerber and Vitali were probably very upset with that goal.
Yeah, I didn't hear it.
Yeah,
but
I
it's easily blown coverage. There's a guy wide open in that spot of the ice. And, I mean, you got people and if you watch, everyone's puck watching the replay. Everybody, even the defenseman, Kyrou. I mean, Thomas' puck watching is supposed to be he's on the puck carrier, but everyone else who's in coverage, they're puck watching. And
I actually do hate bringing this up, but I feel like it needs to be brought up. I made the fucking mistake, actually, after the second goal by Calgary. I made the dumbass mistake to go on Twitter and just type in Binnington.
Oh, why?
And look at latest and see all the people talking about how Jordan Binnington is terrible. Why do they keep putting him out there? He is so bad. And then
not one goal in this game was his fault.
And then again, I looked after the Blues tweeted out Mangiapane scores and the Flames are up 3-1. The first 4 comments were, God, why do we keep playing Binnington? Oh my God, how does he not have that save?
Greiss got a shutout last game. Let's get him out.
Are you? I was like, it was like hurting my head. I'm like, seriously, are you watching? Are you just listening? Are you just looking at box score, like the live updates? How can you? Yeah, how can you possibly put any of these goals on Binnington?
Now, I agree with you, but on the other hand, I have to remind myself. I feel the same way you did, but I have to remind myself that this is the way it's always been.
I know
people get goaltending wrong all the time. If a goal goes in, it's the goalie's fault.
Yep.
For so many people, they don't understand situations. They don't understand. They probably never played the game. I don't want to be that guy. I hate sounding that way, but it makes a difference if you've played. You understand.
Man, in this game particularly, though, you don't have to play the game to understand. There's no fucking way Binnington. Now, maybe you're asking, and I said this to somebody, if you're asking man, we could really use Binnington coming up huge right here. Okay, I get that to a certain extent. But to be like, oh yeah, how does he not have that save? Are you fucking kidding me?
And I had a conversation with a guy who, and that's where his actually was what's the Blues Views, that account?
Yeah. Oh, he's a Binnington hater.
Yeah, but and a lot of says a lot of goes for hot takes and
yes,
yeah, and falls flat a lot of times. Just bad comments. But anyway, so his take is that, well, while the goal may not have been Binnington's fault, if you're a goalie in the NHL, you got to come up with big saves. And I said, yes, I agree. You need to make big saves.
Yeah,
but he did make big saves in this game.
Yeah,
he made big saves. This one happened to go in. So the problem with the whole, wow, you got to make big saves. So the problem with and people who think like him and blame goaltending for everything, they want the goalie to make the big save, which everyone does. But, he's made big saves in this game. He did that. And you can't make every single big save.
Right.
You know what I mean? So some of these are going to go in, these high dangerous scoring chances that are placed well, where you're not. Some are going in.
Mm-hmm.
Most maybe. Not most, but some. So it's like, yeah, I get it. But he's doing that too.
Yeah.
You're ignoring the good saves he makes and just focusing on the ones that are
How
in the
about
net.
the fucking crazy turnover by Barbashev in the third period?
Oh my
The
god!
one-time beautiful pass to a Flame player, and
Wide
it's
open in
like,
the slot.
I'm sorry, most goalies are not prepared for that, and he made a huge save and kept that game tied. But we're not going to talk about that one.
No.
We're going to talk about the goal he gave up.
Yeah. And I mean, I think people honestly, they'll say, okay, there were 3 or 4 goals allowed in this game. Let's look at them. Okay. Well, that was a good shot. Okay. Not really his fault. Okay. But they're like, well, he's got it. But we can't just keep saying it's not his fault. He's got to make some of these saves. He is making some of these saves. They're not going in.
Yeah.
The ones, you know what I mean? That's a
when
weird.
you have a league worst defense, that's going to happen.
Right.
Right. And that's I don't know, call it the conundrum of Jordan Bennington this year. Right. He is playing on an abysmal defensive team. Like they're absolutely terrible. But he is consistently a difference maker. It's so easy to be as an semi-analytical person to always blame the goalie, right? To always blame the last line of defense.
Sure.
The last line of defense has to come through and stop the badness at some point. It's just this, the other lines of defense on this team are so fucking bad. He has to do it much more often. And so the goals that are happening are higher than other years for this team. Like the Blues coming into this year, and probably not rightfully so, probably we should have thrown it out the window last year, that this idea of the Blues as a good defensive team. They are not that anymore, right? You cannot, like, everybody wants to say, a Craig Berube coach team is good defensively. Not in the last 2 fucking years.
No.
They are terrible.
No.
Some of the worst D I've seen. I mean that. I mean, clearly we had the Hitchcock era, which was pretty good D, but before that, clearly the 06, the 07, the 08 teams, those were bad. I put this defense right there.
Yep.
I mean, they are that bad. They're
Right.
hard to watch.
Which is rough because it's a highly paid overall defense.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
Right. I've was trying to find a place to work in the last couple of weeks, but is Colton Parayko the Eric Brewer of this generation?
Yeah.
Right.
No,
Isn't that
he's
what
not
it
that
feels
bad.
like?
He's not that bad.
I think it's similar in the sense that Colton Parayko is being trotted out as a number one, and he is clearly not a number one.
If Parayko were the captain,
right,
that puts an extra level of reliability on you.
But he's such a good locker room guy.
if he were the captain,
I guess that's what it feels like, though. Right? He's the guy that doesn't take it seriously enough. Right. And that's to me that whole idea of Eric Brewer is a great locker room guy because he kept it light. Doesn't that mean he didn't take it seriously enough?
A little bit. That's the way I read that too. Yeah,
and that's how I feel about
I think in terms of play, clearly Colton Parayko is a much better player than Eric Brewer was. But the fact that he's been thrust into this position and he's not a number one. Well, and I'll say, as much as I hated Eric Brewer, I actually felt bad for him for a while because I'm like, this guy clearly does not belong playing number one, and that's just what they're going to keep trotting him out there as because he's the guy that was traded for Pronger.
Right. I was going to say that he stepped in for Pronger, so
right.
that was there's instant animosity of the fans. There's no fault of his own that he was here replacing Pronger, but this is a default feeling for a lot of fans. Like, well, he's got to replace Pronger. He's got to be as good. And it was not going to be as good.
A fraction.
He was supposed to be better than he was.
Yeah.
Because he has a red hitter resume. Team Canada, gold medal winner. He was.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. He was on that team.
So
I watched some of those World Cup games he was in on the Pronger and McInnes Team Canada team, not World Cup, Olympics.
Yeah.
Right. And he was fucking great.
Right.
But again, it's probably because his ice time was limited.
And he was paired with McInnes or
And-
Rob Blake.
Yeah, I think he was paired with Rob Blake.
Well, and the thing with Parayko is that he was supposed to step in as the number one when Pietrangelo left.
Right.
So he's got that, and so this is like the defense is kind of behind the eight ball to start with anyway, because Parayko is supposed to be the number one in waiting when Pietrangelo leaves and falls short. Krug was acquired to essentially replace Pietrangelo in the lineup, or to for a body, and so he's instantly also hated by a lot of fans because we got him and then Pietrangelo can't be signed, which is just wrong. But
Right.
Anyway, so Parayko and Krug are already, to start the year after Pietrangelo left, already behind the eight ball with a lot of fans.
Yep.
So, and to make it matters worse, Parayko doesn't play as well as he should. Isn't the number one guy.
What I think doesn't help either is the fact that we keep hearing, and we still do, even though after they got Nick Leddy, well, we got to find a guy that can play with our number one.
Right.
How often do you hear that with a number one? We got to find a guy that can play with Victor Hedman. No,
Right.
that's not really how it works.
Right. We didn't have to find a guy, right? It helped that Petro and Jabo had just natural chemistry, but we didn't have to find that, right? Petro, whoever he played with, he was fine. And yeah, it just
While we're ripping defensemen, let's revisit and not forget that Pietrangelo, before 2019, up till the first half of 2019 was over, he was not living up to expectations either.
No, he
was supposed to be a Norris caliber guy, and he was falling well short of that.
Right. It was
well
like
short of that.
Right when he got knocked out of that first series against LA, right? He was
LA.
You caught that. So he got knocked out of that series against Los Angeles. Not going there again. And it was like his career kind of got derailed. And then he found it in the 2019 playoffs.
The second half of that
year, right?
After the arrival of Bennington.
Yeah,
which is interesting because Parayko, Pietrangelo would make the odd mistake in a game, not holding the puck in, just making stupid mistakes coverage wise, icing it, bad passes in own zone. He would do all that. He would do what Parayko was doing.
Fewer puck over the glass.
I get that. Yeah. And Pietrangelo probably a little better overall. I get it. But generally speaking, Pietrangelo is showing some of those same traits.
Pietrangelo, though, I feel like even when he was playing bad, he still defensively wasn't completely useless.
No.
Like he would still tie up sticks
either. But he
defensively, he's pretty rough.
He's rough.
Pietrangelo, will at least still okay. Maybe I can't. Maybe I'm not gonna stride to the puck into the corner as fast as I could, but he's gonna tie up sticks. He's gonna take the body
on Kadri's pass to who was backdoor?
Lucic.
Yeah. Gap closure for Parayko was non-existent on Kadri.
Yeah.
He skated with him. He skated over to him and then with him. He didn't close the final 5 feet.
Yep.
Right. He reached out with his stick instead.
Yep.
Right.
That's what he does.
Right. And that
I agree with you.
That's exactly it. Yeah. Right. He's a stick checker.
Yep.
And with his size, he needs to be more physical. And when he is more physical, it is noticeable and makes a massive difference. Right.
It's so funny when he was physical.
He just leans his body into a guy.
Right.
Doesn't have to check him. Just lean into him. It's like, hey, that's what you need to do, bud.
Who did he throw that big check on in the corner? McKinnon. Yeah. And Jim Thomas in the post-game presser asked him about it. He was like, the fans are kind of, like celebrating you're hitting the corner. And he was like, oh, really? I didn't, that's just a hit.
I didn't need to do it. Sorry.
I'm like, because you never
I was going to say that was your first hit in the Blues jersey.
Like fans are going crazy. Yes, they want more of that.
Yeah. No, it to me, I just feel that Parayko after Petro left, Parayko's hockey IQ got exposed. Like we thought it was
his IQ is not what it should
off
be. Yeah.
the charts as his first 2 years, and he couldn't get hurt. Right?
Oh my
Think-
God, that
think back to the Islanders game. when
his
knee-
Oh my
ankle knee got
God.
twisted around underneath him.
and then
I remember
he's-
that.
He's
I was
right
like,
back out
he's
there
done.
next shift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Career's over.
We're like,
Shit.
this guy's not breakable. He's got a great hockey IQ, and it was just that he had the right defensive coverage because he was the guy that was out there with the better defensive forwards.
Yep.
And probably because that allowed him to take more chances in the offensive zone too,
Right.
because he would. How many times? And we talked about this. How many times do we see him take it go end to end?
Oh,
you
yeah.
know,
Right.
and he had the skill and the speed to do so.
The
Right.
And he didn't do it
overtime
anymore.
goal
It-
against
but-
Colorado in 19.
Right.
Oh,
He does have the
Ridiculous.
skill and the speed to do so now. He just doesn't situationally know when to do
Yep.
it.
yeah.
Right.
And that's the hockey IQ
and,
part of it.
and so he doesn't.
Right.
You rarely see him do it.
Right.
He used to do it every game.
Yeah.
Back in it with Pietrangelo.
Because he had the defenseman that would allow him to.
Yeah.
And now he's with Letty, Letty's okay, fine. He's not been what I expected this season,
Right.
but he's not defensive. He's not defensive enough. He's still going to step in and try to make the play too, which is fine if you can get back and cover, but neither him or Parayko know how to do that.
So back to the game.
Oh yeah, there's game talk.
Alexandrov scores his the second goal of his career, 2:20 into the third period, to make it 3-2. About 12 seconds before this goal was scored.
So that's a goal early in the period.
Early in the period, Darren Pag will point out, "Oh, those are killers for the team that scored against. Killer." About 12 seconds before this goal was scored, when the Blues had the puck in their own zone, Blues play-by-play man John Kelly said to Darren Pang, "Darren, a 2-goal lead. You just never know." And the Blues came into the offensive zone.
And why would you?
And why wouldn't he? Gave him gold 9 of hearts. Blues came in the offensive
Holy
zone.
jumping.
Holy jumping. That sounds right
I
behind you.
love. Did you see that part of the game when they tried to get tickets for less, the promo to come on, and for some reason they couldn't get the graphic or the commercial to play, and so it's just silence, and you can tell that Kelly and Pang were like, "Oh shit, why isn't the commercial playing?" And you just hear Pang go, "Well, that was supposed to be a word from our friends at Ticket for Less, and what they would say is, holy jumping." And I'm like, Pang, you couldn't have done anything better to try and cover that.
But you know what? You remember the ad.
I do.
Yeah.
I
so
do.
There you go.
It was effective.
Yeah.
It was.
Would you have remembered it otherwise? No.
Absolutely not.
So, so the Blues came in the offensive zone, 2-on-3. Kind of. Santini carried the puck to the right circle on the boards, fired a shot on net, and Alexandrov crashed the net and got there before the defender and slammed the home rebound. Classic play.
You know what this is reminiscent of to me? Alex Pietrangelo, Ryan O'Reilly, game 4 of the Boston series in 2019.
Pass off pad.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. I can't remember.
Pietrangelo comes in, throws the puck at the net. It was high. It wasn't a pass off pad.
Uh-huh.
It
Okay.
was high. Rass knocks it out, and O'Reilly bats it.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Right.
Oh,
Early in the game.
yeah.
Was it early in the game? No, that was wraparound. What was that?
That was the go-ahead goal.
Okay.
In the second period.
Okay. All right.
Oh my God, these are fantastic.
The black and white cookies.
You like one?
I would love a black and white cookie.
Oh my!
I wish I
God.
had the Seinfeld quote for the black and white cookie to explain the cookie.
No, you should have had like taped on the.
Yeah, I should have ready to go.
This is amazing. Kurt, would you like one?
I mean, I can't not have one. You're talking them up like you are.
Yeah, I had. So at work today, we used to be like food truck central at work,
Oh,
and
yeah.
now they only show up every once in a while, and they usually get chased off by the one restaurant that opened.
Oh, that sucks.
It's awful, but it was New York food truck, and they do sell these,
oh nice.
and yeah,
Huh.
they're very good. I'll
Like cake.
I know
Good.
it's like eating a piece of cake. It's fantastic.
That's really good.
That's
Yeah.
great.
Very good.
Mm.
Good work, Kurt.
Well, thank Deerbergs.
I will next time I'm there.
I walked by and I saw the black and white cookie. I'm like, hey,
Gotta get that. For
You're all doing a wonderful job.
it's a Seinfeld reference. Pond was a Seinfeld guy.
Oh hell yeah!
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
Okay.
That was delicious.
That's really good.
No, so this goal, this was fantastic. I loved it. Perfectly played by Santini. You got to wonder if these two have. I don't want to say a lot of chemistry, defenseman to a forward, but maybe this is something they practice in Springfield. And
Well, I think everyone probably practices it, and
Mhm.
it's a thing you do. It's right side, pass off pad, hopefully far pad, right? And you crash the net on the left side, and you
Yep.
hope for a rebound. And
Very
it's
well
exactly what
executed.
happened. After this goal was scored, I paused it. I rewound it. I told my daughter Zoe, I was like, okay, look at this. We'll break this down, and I'll explain this goal to you. Because if you don't know any better, you're just thinking it's a shot on goal, rebound, score, right?
Right.
So no, he's not trying to score here. He's shooting to get a rebound because he knows he's got players crashing the net, and hopefully they can get a rebound and score. And I said, this play works to perfection. This is exactly how you draw it up. Pass, off pad, crash the net. Alexandrov got a step on the D, and he scored. Perfect play.
Yep. Very
And
well
my
executed.
daughter goes, well, that makes sense. That was a smart play.
Yeah.
No,
So he's a smart girl.
right. That was like, Steven Santini, you've kind of been waiting for that moment for him to like break through. And I felt, like this could be it, right? That showed the right instinct, the right mentality. Anytime somebody's got the hockey IQ to try a pass off pad play and execute it well, there's something there, right?
Yeah.
That the guy's got talent.
Mhm.
So having him up right now is, that wound up being a great depth move.
Oh, yeah.
28 seconds later, which was fantastic. I was still celebrating the first goal.
Yep.
Calgary scores, tie the game 3-3. Calgary turns the puck over at center, and Blues take over in their own zone. Rosen hits Bushnevich at center with a great pass. Bushnevich enters the zone, curls, and kind of awkwardly leaves it for Kyrou as he kind of turns like does a 180. And then Kyrou grabs the puck.
It's funny. You watch that play and you wonder, like, did he do that on purpose? But he clearly did.
It was on purpose, but it was like
it's
awkward.
so weird the way he did it.
It was like, okay, it was like almost like telegraphing it. Here, I'm leaving it for you.
Yeah,
Here we
right.
go.
Yeah.
As he kind of curls and gets his body between the defenseman and the puck. And then Kyrou grabs the puck, does a little toe drag, and rips it from outside the top of the circles. And smokes Markstrom, who seemed to be screened on this a little bit, or maybe it grazed off a stick or a leg. They never really said. I mean, they mentioned that it might have, but they never really broke it down like a close-in video of it did. And I'm looking at the replay. I'm like, that may have been deflected. That may have tipped.
It was.
It may have. I mean, it makes sense because otherwise Markstrom should have had this.
No, I think what it comes down to is Markstrom's just he is having an off year.
Yeah.
Right. Last year he was Vezina, in the Vezina conversation the last 2 years really, and I just think it was a screenplay, and I don't think there was a deflection.
Okay.
Oh,
I think he missed it.
Okay.
Okay. Still, I mean, and because first period, Kyrou had a couple chances in front where it was like he just was flat-footed. His hands were made of stone, turned into Jamal Mayers for a minute, and just could not get shots off when he should have.
Oh.
And I said at the end of this period, at the end of the first period, that was a terrible period by Jordan Kyrou. We need him to see him step up right now with the injuries. This is a big game in terms of playoff implications. I know it's only January, but still, you're chasing this team in the standings.
Where the Blues are in the standings, you're looking at playoff implications in games now.
Yes,
so
you have to be.
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking, man, he has got to turn the dial up a little bit. And I said then, I expect to see a much better second period from him, which we did. But then we see this goal, and it was, okay, this is where Jordan Kyrou needs to be. And he made a great play on that goal, and we'll talk about some other stuff he did coming up in this game, but he looked very good in this third period.
And on this play, kind of makes up for his lapse in coverage earlier in the game. Thomas had a goal not a few minutes later after this. Looked like Thomas had one anyway. On a great backdoor pass from Bushnevich. The goal was challenged and ruled to be offside due to Kyrou losing the handle on the puck for a moment right as he crossed the blue line, putting himself offside, and it was the correct call on this. I'm hoping, as soon as I heard they were challenging, At this point in the game, a tie game, they're not challenging unless they're sure, because
Yeah.
they're getting a penalty if they don't.
Mhm.
And as soon as they said they were challenging, I'm like,
Yep.
Yeah.
I
I told you guys before we
You
went
knew
on.
it?
I told my dogs that's coming back. That was offside.
Yeah.
It just it felt wrong going in, but
and you know what?
it's that linesman mentality right now. That they're gonna let the play go on
I was just gonna say
because
that.
they have video.
Right.
And they should.
Right.
That was close. It was a very close bang bang as you're crossing the blue line. You put yourself outside. But I think it was the right call not to call it and let them challenge it if they wanted to, as opposed to blowing it dead in case he was wrong.
It was the overtime goal that was called back against the Blues earlier this season. Was that McDavid?
Yeah.
Yeah. That and people. I remember Oilers fans being pissed, but it's like the minute I saw the replay, I was like, "Oh yeah, that's coming back." He had no possession of the puck, and I kind of was with you, Bill, a little bit when the play first materialized. I'm like, Kyrou seemed to kind of let go of that puck, but I'm like, I don't know. Maybe I just, it's again, hockey's a very quick sport. I thought, well, maybe I didn't see it right. But then when I kind of saw the bench, the Flames bench, you could see from the TV, they were looking down at the monitors and the iPads. And I'm like, oh boy, I think that's going to come back.
What's funny is that stick handling up the ice, if you're going out of your own zone, through the neutral zone, if you're stick handling and you lose like possession as much as he did and regain it real quick, you're not going to think it's a loss of possession coming up the ice. But when you come into the zone, it has to be clean.
Yes.
Right.
Oh,
Especially if
and
you're coming
that was-
backwards.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was anything but.
Right.
No,
And
it was-
he went over the puck and had to go back and get it that instantly. And he's in the zone then, and he's offside.
I actually think, like you guys said, I think now linesmen are going to let it go because they can actually review it. I actually think that's a play 5, 6, 7 years ago. Their linesman sees that on the play and says, "I'm going to blow that one dead."
I think
That
a lot.
looked offside.
I think a lot of times linesmen see that, and even if it's not offside, if you don't come into the zone clean and you think it might be, they call it. You know what I mean? I don't think unless you enter clean and it's close, they used to blow it offside every time.
I don't think they do it anymore.
No,
Yeah.
no, I
But
don't.
yeah, they definitely used to.
Yeah. So 28 seconds into overtime, Thomas scores again on Calgary's first possession overtime. Falk forced a turnover in the blue zone around the net, and the Blues pick up a loose puck. And Kyrou and Thomas come in 2-on-1. Kyrou carries the puck all the way up, turns like he's going to shoot a little bit, and then just slides a pass over to Thomas. And that puck just goes under the defenseman's stick who was sliding down.
Oh, it was
Yeah.
close.
And fortunately, they got through. And Thomas corralled it, zipped a wrist shot over the sliding Markstrom to give the Blues a nice 4-3 comfort man win. And looking at the replay of this, what the percentage of the time that this puck is tipped away by the D-man, probably over half.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking on replay, I'm like, that probably wasn't the best play, but it worked out. It got through. Right. So next time, fire it.
Right.
Well, and just imagine it's a 2-on-1, right? So that means there's 2 Flames players still behind the play with 1 Blues player back. I don't know who the defenseman was. So if Hanifin makes that play, he's probably shooting it right back up, and it's a 2-on-1 the other way.
Right.
If he can. Yeah.
Yeah.
If he gets it. Yeah.
And I mean, even if he just saucers it to the boards, there's probably a Flames player there.
Well, he's down. He's laying down. Right.
Right.
He's
Yeah.
gotta
But
get
I
up
mean,
and-
still,
You never know. You
if
never
he
know.
corrals that, there's a chance.
Maybe.
Right.
And it's like, so yeah, if that play doesn't work out, could easily have been a Blues 4-3 loss.
Yeah. And I'm not trying to be too critical of the play. It was a nice result. But
Well, let's not putting these two on a pedestal like we would back in the early 90s, but let's say that's Hull and Oates coming in on a 2-on-1, right? Hull's got the puck, Oates is on the wing. Hull's shooting that puck 99 times out of 100. So I'm sure Hanifin's thinking the same thing. Well, Kyrou's probably going to shoot it, so I got to hope Markstrom's going to make the save here.
Right. And like you said, he angled himself as if he was going to shoot.
Yep.
Before he made the pass.
Right.
Right. And did you see the 2 interviews with Kyrou
they
and
practice
Thomas?
how they talk about how they practice the play?
Well, Kyrou said, we have our set plays.
Yeah. Yep.
And we knew exactly what we were going to do.
Yep.
And Thomas said, we looked at each other as we were going up the ice, and I knew what he was going to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's awesome.
No, that's great.
Man, I go up with a teammate on a 2-on-1 and I look at him and I have no fucking clue what's going to happen. So that's amazing that they have that kind of chemistry.
Right.
Calgary outshot the Blues 31-27. Blues are 1 for 2 on the power play. Calgary was 0 for 2. Kyrou actually, as much we've talked about Kyrou, some critical, some good. He did have 3 points in this game.
Right.
1 goal, 2 assists.
Leading point.
Yep.
Score
reminds me of Mystery Alaska with Burnsy. So you think because you had 2 goals, you had a good game.
Alexandrov had the other goal. Bennington stopped 28 of 31. I thought he was very good in this game. Made a few very good saves and stopped all the other ones he was supposed to.
He played great. Again, I mentioned the Barbashev turnover in the third period. That easily could have been the death nail for the Blues in this game. Again, you had to at least get a point out of Calgary. Hopefully to do the same tomorrow night against the Flames. But
tomorrow night, I mean, to take 4 out of 4 against them and give them none.
Well,
when you're chasing them,
they'll take 1.
Right.
They lost.
Right. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, you're right.
But
so
still,
to take 4 out of 4 and give them 1.
4 out of 4 and they only get 1 out of 4,
Right.
that's huge.
Right. So we're 2. What's the standings? We are 2 points behind them. Yes.
Yeah, I thought Bennington was just great in this game. And again, I know social media is full of complete jackass morons who don't understand the game, who just want to spout their mouths.
We are 2 points behind Calgary.
But man, he was, again, you said it. He stopped every single chance that he should have. And again,
a few nice saves. Yeah.
He had some great saves in this game.
And the goals they scored were quality goals. I mean, from Calgary, they weren't like softies. They weren't dribblers. They weren't bleeders, leakers. Whatever Bill calls them, leakers, I guess. So yeah, nothing that he would squeeze through him. He maybe should have had. I had 0 problems with Bennington. It's so funny how people can see him play a game and see it so different.
Yeah.
I would love, it's one thing to talk with somebody online because you just can't get across to people online. But if you're sitting at a bar at somebody and the game's on TV and you're discussing the game, friendly conversation, and he goes off on Bennington and you say, I don't know, man. I mean, let's look at this on the replay. It's like, he's not supposed to. How's he supposed to get that? Are you expecting him? He's saying he should have made that save. It's a, complete breakdown in front of him and they put it top shelf and can he make the save? Is it possible? Yeah, it's always possible, but let's be realistic about what he should and shouldn't be able to save most of the time.
No, I mean, I've said on this show before, there's late in games where he'll give up a goal that is one that's on the defense. And it's like, okay, that's a good goal for the other team. But it's like, man, you need your goalie to step up in this moment.
Sometimes
and he didn't do it.
Yeah.
And I'll say, it's hard to still put the blame on him for something like that, but it does happen. But man, with these 3 goals in this game, those are grade A chances. I mean, those are tough for any goal in the league. I don't care who you are. Vasilevsky has trouble making those saves. Now, granted, Tampa actually knows how to play defense, but
because they have a guy named Victor Hedman.
Yeah. And
Sergachev
and
well, they used to have
these have Ryan McDonough. I can't think of anyone else right now.
Yeah.
Luke Shen's gone. Shit.
It's Cernak.
Oh yeah. Yeah, there you go. No, they've got a good team defense. Plus they have part of the team defense is your back checking forwards.
Right.
Blues are struggling a little bit there right now too, outside of a couple guys. But yeah,
Ian Cole.
Yeah, Ian Cole.
I forgot Ian Cole was there. Yeah,
and his suspension is over.
Yes. And,
but
don't forget Carl Dykhouse. I remember.
Yeah, isn't he like a production company for a Jackass? Who's seen the Jackass movies?
I saw
have not.
First 2.
Dick House Productions, right?
Oh, that's right. Now I remember when I was talking to my dad. I mean, this is when I was probably 14, and I made a comment like, "Oh yeah, it was a really good play by Dykhouse," and he just started cracking up, and I'm like, "What's so funny?" And he's like, If you don't get it, I can't tell you.
She's a lesbian.
And it was like 3 years later before I finally I said his name out loud again, and I was like, "Oh, there it is."
This is the how many shows this season? Recently, have we referenced that scene from Slapshot?
Yeah,
quite a few actually
I think
recently.
we said it last week.
Suzanne sucks pussy.
She's a lesbian.
So apparently,
I know.
apparently there was kind of a Slapshot reunion at Staples Centers last week,
Really?
and Denny Lemieux and Hanrahan were both there.
Really?
Whoa.
I would have expected Hanrahan to be dead by this point.
Yeah.
He looked 50 in the movie.
Yeah,
he did. He did, but no,
Well,
both of them were there.
I've talked about this with somebody that back in the day, 60s, 70s, whatever, people who were 40 look 60.
Oh
Right.
yeah.
Oh,
It's crazy.
right.
Archie Bunker in All in the Family,
Did you
he
guys
was like 45.
And I know this is a
And he looked
cartoon.
60.
I know this is a cartoon, but did you guys watch Rugrats when you were younger?
Oh, a
Yeah,
little.
and that
Okay,
was-
I never did either.
that
A
was-
little
But
past my time. but I watched a little bit.
I remember the parents in that show. And apparently the parents were supposed to be like, I think they said 29 and 31. And they both looked like they were in their 50s.
Wasn't he bald? Or
He had
balding?
he had real scruffy, like a real scruffy
Okay.
beard, and his hair was always messed up. She was like a blonde lady, but yeah, they both look like they were in their early 50s.
It's so funny. People you see like in sitcoms in the 60s and 70s, you see them like in the early 2000s, they look like a little older, but look the same.
Right.
It's like, it's been 40 years. How old were you back then?
So that 70s show. Have you
Yeah.
guys seen the previews for the new That 90s show?
Uh-uh.
Where Kitty and Red Foreman come back and they're the main characters. They look the exact same.
Really?
It's been 20 years since that show went off air.
Yeah.
They look the
Mhm.
exact same. They have not aged.
That's
It's
crazy.
crazy.
Yeah. It's insane that, not to give away our ages, but I am so close to 50 now, and I don't feel like it. I don't feel like I look like it, but man,
I would guess you a day over 49.
and I'm not.
No, I'm almost 40, and I don't feel that way at all. My
No.
buddy
Archie Bunker was 47 when the show debuted,
that's so nuts.
and I'm 48.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
And if you
Right.
put Archie Bunker,
I
compared
mean,
to him,
and you are just so
I don't
sexy.
think I'm saying. I do not look Archie Bunker old.
No.
I don't think.
No.
Not even I'm 20 years off of that.
Dude, I
think.
see pictures of my dad when he was 42, and I'm like, my brother is your age. He's 47, and I'm like, my dad looks like he's like 20 years older than him. It
What-
makes no sense.
What was the stress that they had that we don't?
A lot of smoking.
Right.
Lot of
A lot of
smoking.
smoking.
That's
Everywhere
probably-
they went, every bar, every restaurant, smoke everywhere.
Plus, they knew that their kids were going to be damn delinquents.
They didn't have 14 TVs in the house rotting their brains. They only had like one, maybe two.
That's true.
Right.
No computers. Everybody's outside doing stuff.
Right.
Maybe that's the problem. Too much sun
Yeah.
ages the skin.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yep. Stay inside.
And
COVID really helped us out.
Lots of video
Right.
games helps preserve the skin. A
right.
lot of blue
That-
light.
That and you did make steak for dinner every night.
True. Yeah, that's a lot of
That's
fat in the
true.
diets. back
Yeah.
then.
My buddy said to me last week, he goes, "Man, I can't believe you're going to be the big Pavel Dimitra this year." And I'm like, "What?"
38.
He's like, 38. I was like, "Oh God, I am going to be 38. Holy shit, I'm old."
So Robert Thomas scores the overtime goal, and it meant more than an overtime goal win for the Blues. Tim McKernan, who's a sports talk guy on ESPN
Former
Radio.
colleague of this former media member.
There you go. Former media member colleague of
I
Jeff
used
Ponder.
to go on his show. Not to go off on any kind of tangent here, but one of the nicest guys in media you'll
Wait,
ever
are
meet.
you telling me you used to be in the media?
I know. I'm shocked too.
I've had conversations with him online, back and forth.
He responds to everything.
and
He
some
is such a nice dude.
some private, and back in the day, back when discussion forums, remember those? Remember discussion forums where
Yeah.
it's like all the rage?
You mean that like letsgoblues.com?
Let's Go Blues.com had a very popular discussion forum, and McKernan had just started inside STL.com, I think it was.
Oh, Kurt, look at the screen right now.
He had a site, and we talked a little bit. Look at the screen.
Yeah,
hold on.
I'm sharing.
I got it pretty small.
That's what she said.
I think Kurt was mid-30s. Hey, Ken. Thanks, Ken.
Yeah, Ken says I would never have guessed Kurt was in his 40s. I thought Kurt was in his mid-30s, and I would have guessed Bill in his late 60s. Wow, Ken. I'm kidding. I added that last part.
but I had some conversation with McKernan, privately about discussion forums and moderation and stuff like that. And he was running a forum on his site. So no, and super nice guy, just real personable,
down to earth.
Yeah. Right. And he shared a story on Twitter. And I'll read what he shared. Here's a story about the Blues. Robert Thomas and a friend of mine and a friend of many who passed away last week. Leon Williams died suddenly at the age of 44 on January 2nd, leaving behind wife Katie, son Landon, daughter Keely, and hundreds of friends. Landon is a hockey player. Last night, courtesy of the St. Louis Blues, he went to the game and got to meet Ryan O'Reilly and Robert Thomas. Before the game, Thomas tells him, "I'm going to try to score one for you tonight." Fast forward.
A real Paul O'Neill move.
Yeah, exactly. A Seinfeld reference.
I'm not a home run hitter. How did you get in here?
That's funny. So fast forward overtime, and actually in third period, Robert Thomas scored, was taken away.
Mm-hmm.
That had to be kind of a gut punch, right?
Yeah.
For other reasons, unbeknownst to a lot of Blues fans at the time. But after in overtime, Robert Thomas delivers the game winner from Cairo. After the game, Thomas finds Landon and says, "I told you I would get you one." And in the midst of 10 of the toughest days, the Blues and Thomas give a 12-year-old boy who just lost his dad a memory for a lifetime. How cool is that?
Fucking awesome.
God, man. I mean, having kids, man, I mean, it hits different, with this kind of stuff. But I think anybody can appreciate what this would mean to somebody. Robert Thomas is all right.
I never told this story on the air, and this is because he met Ryan O'Reilly too. So I wanted to tell this. So I took my son to his first game last year, and we made a big deal about it. So we were down over at where the Blues were getting off the ice, and I'm yelling, and I'm holding my son up, and I'm yelling. O'Reilly's the last one. It's O'Reilly and might have been Scandella were the last two off the ice, and I'm yelling, "It's his first game! It's his first game! Give us a puck!" And I never do that kind of thing, but I'm like, dude, this would be so awesome if we'd get a puck for his first game. And so O'Reilly flips a puck up, totally not near us, and he goes to head off. And luckily, some other dude in the crowd, which if you're listening, thank you, goes, "Ryan O'Reilly, this kid over here, it's his first game." And O'Reilly pops his head up, and he sees me, and I'm holding him up, and I'm like, "It's his first game." And he's like, "Oh," and he goes like this, and I see him bend down, and he picks up another puck, and then he tosses it right over to us. Cool. And I'm like, that is that is such a tiny nothing gesture that means so much to me and my son. I'm gonna be able to look back at that with him in 30 years and say, I remember when Ryan O'Reilly gave you this puck, captain of the Blues, Conn Smythe winner.
And I've told this story on the show when I was at the Blues. It was a preseason training camp practice, and at Enterprise, or Scott Trade at the time, I guess. And so we're down there right against the glass. There's not a spattering of people there, right against the glass. And Kirk Muller, assistant coach of the Blues at the time. We didn't ask him for anything. We're sitting there, and he skates right over to us and goes, "Would he like a puck?" And I said, "Sure, he'd love a puck." And my son's sitting there, just he's got to be like 6 years old. And so he gets a puck and he flips it over, and he gets the puck and he just waves us and skates back and continues the practice. And I'm like, didn't ask him for anything, and he comes over and does that. And I'm like, that is fucking cool.
Yep.
And I'm like, that's something that I'll be telling people. It's a small gesture. It's not during a game or anything, or it's not a game puck, but it was just cool, to take just a moment. It takes a few seconds, no effort really, to come over and do that. And we've talked about this, that if we were NHL players, I would so be the guy that just did this as much as I could. Just gave pucks to kids, give them high fives, make eye contact with them when they're on the glass before in pregame skate, just skate by and kind of wave to them. Just that little gesture, just that
Oh, the
that
stuff we're
stays
seeing
with
now with
kids.
like rock, paper, scissors for a puck and like
Yeah.
that kind of stuff we're seeing now. Like we didn't, I mean, it was always like, give me a puck, on the signs. And now it's that kind of thing. And I love seeing players participate in that kind of stuff. I think that's so
yeah.
cool.
Yeah. It's just neat. And I think a lot of players recognize that how that just sticks with kids and parents of kids who see that happen. It just means a lot. It's a small, it's kind of weird, but it's a tiny little gesture. A player gives a kid a puck. But it's like, we've all seen it was a Montreal fan, little kid who gets a puck flipped over and he didn't get one, right? And another one came over and he got it. And he's just like hugging the puck.
Yeah.
He's like, he's just like so happy. And I'm like, the kid never going to forget that ever.
Yep. Yeah, we got Shea's first puck framed. It's sitting in his room, and I mean, it's going to be with him forever. I never got one. I mean, I got pucks obviously as a kid. I don't think I ever got one in my first game, but like I still remember getting a puck flipped to me when I was like 12, and I was like, "Oh, this is going on my mantle when I'm an adult, and it's never leaving."
My daughter came back to the seats after Kirk Muller gave my son a puck, and she was like, "Oh, he got a puck." So, and of course, this is training camp and practice, and so pucks go over the glass and hit the net, and they come down, and it wasn't that long, maybe 15, 20 minutes, and a puck came over and hit the net and fell behind the glass and she ran over and got it. So she got one, so she was very happy, but wasn't flipped to her by a player or coach.
Right,
So it was not quite the same, but she liked it just as much.
Right. When you're a kid and you go to a game, whether it's a hockey game or a baseball game, and you're in that area where the puck might come, like you're always ready. I never got a puck from a game, like never got a baseball like that got hit out of play at a game.
Bill, I'll give you a baseball.
My daughter got a ball at a Grizzlies game. She actually caught a foul ball. Oh,
Yeah.
well, it bounced, but she got it.
My mom got hit in the head by a wild pitch at a Grizzlies game.
Really?
Yes.
There's a net in there. How did that happen?
It from the we were
Was it by Chuck Knobloch?
we were sitting on the third base side, and there was an errant pitch by a guy warming up, hit my mom right in the head, gave her a concussion.
Oh my
It
God.
was the most bizarre thing. Only time I ever went to a Grizzlies game, never went back.
Wow.
Well, obviously.
Yeah. I saw more Bob Dylan concerts at that stadium than baseball games.
Okay.
Man.
But
So 2?
yes. Yes. Bob Dylan and
least.
Willie Nelson.
At least.
Right.
Wow. That
was-
sounds awesome.
We went to Carbondale and saw Bob Dylan and Brian
Brian
Setzer.
Setzer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a good one.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Tony Garnier was the bass player for both.
I don't think I knew that. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. He's great. That's one of my favorite shows. I have a bootleg tape of that.
That was a fun show. I remember you telling me. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a fun show.
I still have it.
Yeah. That's cool.
And yeah, it's awesome. But no, I so many games I went to as a kid, and every time I got within the first 10 rows, I'm like, oh, we could get a puck, and never happened. Closest I ever came to getting anything, I was at a Cardinals game, and there was a foul ball. Andy Van's like playing for the Pirates, towering fly ball. Foul hit the seat behind me, and when you hear people describe a baseball, like you can hear
the seams in the air. Yeah.
I did, and I moved the fuck away from
It's like
that.
buzzing.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was scared to death. It bounced and literally went 30 rows the other way. It had so much spin on it, and that was the closest I got. When I was at Providence, somebody the worst setup for seats of any arena I've ever been to. The seats were above the boards, and we were at a game, and somebody went for a dump in, and slapshot dump in sailed above the glass and smacked the chick sitting behind me right in the face. And
Sorry,
I'm still vamping.
There's a extension
right.
cord in the bin. If you want to grab it, it might work better. No, it's probably too. It's probably a brick's probably too big, and that's pretty loaded.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a extension cord over there,
Okay.
and there's a cord behind
Bill,
it too.
please continue.
Yeah. So yeah. I will continue trying to vamp here as Ponder tries to find a power source.
We can go to commercial too.
Yeah, we should.
We
We're
should.
way overdue.
We are way overdue.
So yeah. So instead of me telling the story about the chick getting her face broken by the slap shot, I think it was from Hal Gill.
Hal Gill.
Hal Gill.
We have a story about Hal
Yes, I have multiple stories about Hal Gill.
Gill. A personal
This being
story about
one
Hal
of
Gill.
them. Yes.
Oh, I know those stories.
Yeah.
We told you the story about Hal Gill wanting to fight my brother.
Yeah.
At
At the World Cup of Hockey.
At the World Cup of Hockey after the game in Columbus, Ohio. Yeah, that was great.
Let's go to commercial.
Let's go to commercial. We look at some interesting Blues statistics and talk about Tarasenko being picked as the Blues representative of the All-Star game. After this word from Center Ice Brewery, this is Let's Go Blues Radio.
Do you like hockey? No, of course you do. Do you like beer? Of course you do. Are you 21? Well, let's hope so. If you answered yes to all of those questions, run on down to your local beer distributor and pick up a 2-4 of Old Arena Lager, the Beauty IPA, or any other delicious hockey-themed beer from Center Ice Brewery. That's right, Center Ice Brewery beer is available at various beer stores around town, so check around for the one closest to you. That's Center Ice Brewery. Let's go Blues.
Since the end of their 8-game losing streak early in November, the St. Louis Blues lead the NHL in goals scored. That's not news. We've talked about this before on the show last week, I believe. But since then, still leading the NHL. 110 goals in the 31 games played. They have played a few more games than most of the teams. But if you look at their goals for per games played, average, over that same span, they're still second in the Western Conference at 3.55 goals for per game, trailing only Seattle, which we talked about how good a year they're having, and they're at 3.73 goals for per game. So the Blues have scored, more than Dallas, more than Edmonton, more than Minnesota. And a fun fact, Colorado is 28th in goals for per games played over that same span with a 2.64.
I think it was Matt Harris who said at the beginning of the year that he was picking the Avalanche to miss the playoffs this year. And we were all like, oh, no way, man. There's still 2 years they've got. And then, they'll be in contract hell.
Was he predicting injuries, though, too?
No.
Because they've had a lot.
Clearly, that's their biggest issue.
Right.
But still, seeing where they're at in the standings, it is shocking.
Yeah, they're looking up at us.
Mm-hmm.
So same amount of games played, too. So there's no games in hand they got on us.
Yep.
I think. So the problem with the Blues team, though, is obviously their defense. We've talked about it ad nauseum. They have the third most goals allowed over that same span. But again, more games played than the most of the teams on that list, so that's a little skewed. So if we go look at goals against per games played average, they are 21st, 3.45. So it's better, but still not good. But with those numbers, we're scoring 3.55 per game. We're allowing 3.45 per game. What's the problem? We're scoring more goals than we're allowing. Isn't that the whole point of winning? You score more than the other team and you win.
Can you imagine this team with a non-Jordan Binnington? And that's what I want. I wish we had multiversal possibilities here, so we can be like, oh yeah, this team, instead of playing Jordan Binnington, they picked up I don't know,
Carter Hart.
Carter Hart. Yeah, Carter Hart's a St. Louis Blue behind this defense. This team isn't even sniffing the wild card.
No.
I'm not saying Jordan Binnington is the greatest goalie in the league. He's not. He might not even be top 10, but he is very capable of playing with this team. And that's what I keep saying. At this point, you just have to hope your goalie can make the saves that he can, because this defense does not help him out at all.
Oh, we talked about it. It's a situation. Where I feel, and I think you guys that do as well, that he's good enough to be on a winning team and to win with this team or a team. He's good enough to go deep in the playoffs. But
he was good enough to beat the Colorado Avalanche, which is why he was injured in that series.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. He was giving them fits. So
Another multiversal thing. Jordan Binnington doesn't get injured on that
I would
play.
love
What
to go back in
happens?
time and play out that series. I'm not saying the Blues win because we're still getting outplayed
Right.
badly at times.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you can't score, you're not going to win. So they were having problems big time against
They were.
Binnington. And it was, I would have loved to have seen that series play out. Could have gone longer, could have gone 7. Maybe the Blues still lose. Who knows? But, woulda, coulda, shoulda. Over that same span since November 10th, the Blues power play percentage is 10th at 25.8%, and the PK is 22nd at 73.8%. So the old saying goes that you want your special teams PK and power play percentages to total 110% ish. We're about 10% shy of that, but did some number crunching. Since December 14th, so about the last month, which is 13 games, the power play is second in the NHL at 30.8%, and the PK is 14th at 82.1%. That total is 112.9%. So if you haven't noticed that the special teams have improved tremendously and is continuing to improve.
And let's say there was a period with this team when they took a penalty, it was an automatic goal.
It was bad.
Almost literally. There was times where they'd win the face-off in the offensive zone for the other team. Within 5 seconds, the goal would be on the board. I mean, it was automatic.
Right.
And so seeing an improvement there is massive.
Right. We talked about the Blues wanting to decline penalties and just
Yes.
give the goal.
Right. And this is just a little attempt at how they're trending. The defense still has major issues, but special teams are improving. You look back since November 10th at the end of the 8-game losing streak. The numbers are what they are. They're improving better than they were than they are overall the season as a whole. But then over the past month, they're even better than that. So they're trending in a good direction, special teams wise. So if you're scoring a lot of goals and your power play is clicking and your PK is a lot better and your goaltending is pretty solid, you've got one issue with this team, and it's your overall defense.
Yes.
Just giving too many high danger chances.
And I'll clarify that. When we say defense, we don't mean just the defensemen.
No,
it's
forwards
the
coming
overall
back.
Team defense.
Right. It's the breakdown of Jordan Kyrou and Robert Thomas on the Mangiapane goal.
Yes.
Own zone play.
Right.
Yeah. It really is
own
what
zone play.
Own zone play. Forwards and defense. Coverage.
Back checking.
Back checking.
Yeah.
Doing the simple things, hockey 101 kind of things, just seems like it's not there sometimes. Hockey IQ seems to be lacking sometimes in the own zone.
Yep.
So that's I mean, right now with the way the Blues are trending, I'm not going to criticize the power play or the PK much at all. Goal scoring is best in the league since November 10th, so I have zero complaints with the amount of goals we're scoring. It's really just our defensive zone play. And God, if they can clean that up just a little bit and get back to league average.
Yeah.
Just be an average defensive team. That would make a huge difference. And they're racking up points too. I mean, they've won 4 out of 5. They've gotten 12 was that, and 12 out of the past 16 or 18 points, something like that. So they're getting points and they're racking up points and they move up the standings slowly. And I think they're doing it in a way where they'll win a couple and they'll lose 1, win 3, lose 1. And so they're and lose 1 in overtime and then lose another in overtime, then lose 1, then win 2 or 3 more. So they're not rattling off 7 or 8 in a row. So, but they're getting points in a way that's kind of almost under the radar in a way where they're not really putting it in long streaks. So
yeah,
it's interesting.
They're not putting together long streaks, and the games where they're not winning, it's shitting the bed like Montreal.
Right.
Yes.
And people will see that game and be like, see, that's what we're dealing with. I'm like, well, yeah, every once in a while. But I mean, if you could also say every team has a shit game every once in a while.
Yeah.
too.
But
I'm just saying.
Are any of us taking this team seriously? Right, as a serious playoff threat.
Not with the defense the way it's playing. You can't. I mean, you can make the playoffs with this team, but can you go deep in the playoffs with the defense the way it's playing?
No,
I don't see how. You'd have to play unreal offensively.
At best,
Unreal.
I think you're looking at what we saw last year. Second round, 5-6 games.
Which, to be honest, if they went second round, lost 5, I'd be like,
That's pretty damn good for this group.
There'd be a lot of people eating the words.
Right.
If that
Well, no, they won't, because the same people would be saying, well, it's Stanley Cup or bust. So what's the point? Which we heard a lot of last year.
see that, and that's a whole other show.
Yeah.
I mean, I could talk about that. Now ownership may feel it's Stanley Cup or bust by the way they spend and bring in players and but as far as fans go, if you can't really enjoy a season where you go to the 7th game in the second round and it's exciting, but you lose, like the Blues did all throughout our childhood growing up,
Yes.
second round and out, right?
Right.
I have so many great memories of Blues playoff moments
Oh, yeah.
that I love.
How many times have we talked about,
Mm-hmm.
like, clearly the 19 team has trumped the top 5 moments pretty much
Easy.
in all Blues history. But outside of that, like, talking about the greatest moments that we watched as fans before that, I mean, I wouldn't take away those moments for anything.
Right.
The
Love 'em.
Turgeon goal in '99, the Wednesday Night Wonder with the Maple Leafs, obviously
All
Monday
kinds of
Night
stuff.
Miracle, like all those great moments. Grant Fior, just
Janny, Game 4 sweep of
Oh,
the Hawks.
yeah.
It's
Crombie.
Yeah.
Crombie against the Penguins.
Pronger scoring the 4-1 goal to sweep the Stars in
Mm-hmm.
2001. I mean, Scott Young scoring in the Western Final OT of Game 3. I mean, there's so many great moments.
Yeah.
The entire series against in 01 against the Avalanche,
Yeah.
where we lost in 6.
Yeah.
6.
Lost in 6, but that was such an amazing, interesting series.
I know,
How things went, it's just there's so many stories from that series.
Yep.
Right. That I look back on. I'm like, there were some great moments. The Blues won a couple that were fantastic. And the way Hua played was just amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, he stole. The Blues played really well in that series, and
Right.
Hua stood on his head.
Right.
I
He
think
was
if
really
the
good.
Blues had a goalie capable, if they had Roman Turek from round 2 against the Stars, because he played lights out in that series.
He did.
If they had the same Roman Turek against the Avalanche,
He shit the bed against the
I think
Avalanche.
they win that
It
series.
was
He was bad against the Avalanche.
so
3 goals in 78 seconds.
And to me, it wasn't so much the 3 goals in 78 seconds, but the everything came to focus on the Sakic penalty shot.
Oh, yeah.
When Sakic scored that penalty shot, like I just knew, like we do not have a chance. They have these surgical strike players, Sakic and Forsberg, and
Well, Forsberg was out.
yeah,
He had
well,
abdominal surgery, I believe.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
yeah.
I forgot about that.
Do you remember Turek's quote after that game? I didn't know I couldn't throw my stick. Because he threw his
Oh, yeah.
stick
Right.
that
Yeah.
led to the penalty
Right.
shot.
Yeah.
Right.
You didn't know you could throw your stick?
It's like goalies
dude.
nowadays not knowing they can't play with a broken. They can play with a broken stick.
Right.
I'm like, what?
You're the only position that gets to do
How does this not come up at any point during your career?
I was
before the NHL?
amazed that you'll appreciate this, Bill. In my last game, my goalie, his stick broke as he was going to play the puck behind the net, and he just like took the stick and knocked the end off on the post, and then played with his
Continued to
broken
play.
stick
Yeah.
until the end of play. And I'm like, man, there's NHL goalies that don't know they can do that.
Right.
There are NFL players that don't know that games can end in a tie.
Ivan
Yeah.
Barbashev not having the situational awareness to to pick up your helmet.
Or just keep playing.
Right.
There's
Keep
like
playing
10
and take the
seconds to go.
penalty,
Yeah, like 15
right?
seconds to go.
It
Take
doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Take the penalty.
Right.
Yeah. It's going to take them 10 seconds to call the penalty anyway.
Right.
So
Mm. Yeah. Ugh.
any game against the Red Wings during the heyday of hatred for the Wings,
Yeah.
the playoff series, and even though we couldn't beat them in the playoffs, I mean that's me getting up for that series and wanting them to win so bad,
Mhm.
and the excitement I had. I'm not going to trade that. I mean, they didn't win, but
No.
I would love for us to win, but that I have memories of that. It's just like, yeah, we didn't win the cup forever, but yeah, I don't trade that shit for anything. It's not cup or bust for 99% of the fan bases
Right.
out there.
And for those of us that lived through that era, the fact that we got the cup, we're gonna die happy.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Right. We got the cup, And we've talked about how our outlook on the franchise has changed, and our emotions
Right.
have changed
Right.
after big games and playoffs and stuff a little bit, because it's like, well, we got the cup. There's no longer that feeling of we're never going to get it when we get bounced.
Right.
When one of the worst I've ever felt in my life was after my first COVID shot, my first dose of the vaccine. I was up. I had 106-degree fever.
Holy shit!
Oh, it was bad. I seriously was laying in bed thinking, this is where I die. I'm going to die tonight.
106?
It was bad.
104 is really high.
Oh, I
Jesus.
really thought I'm going to die. And I remember even like
Did you take a bath
at
or
one
anything?
point.
Like a cool
I
bath?
did everything. I put the cold compress on my head and everything.
I didn't know
It was
that
bad.
bad.
I almost went to the ER. I probably should have.
Probably should have. 106.
But,
holy fuck.
Yeah, I was laying in bed, and because I had like there's like the 20th time I had like laid down and say, okay, hopefully I'll go to sleep now. And my wife looks over at me. She goes, are you okay? And I go, you know what? I feel awful. There's a chance I'm going to die tonight. But you know what? I'm going to die with a smile on my face because the Blues won the Stanley Cup. Even in the worst I've ever felt, that was the first thing on my mind.
That's funny. That's funny.
Mm.
So Tarasenko was picked to represent the Blues at the All-Star game. Why?
Yeah, what a weird pick, right? I saw that and I'm like, they know he's not going to be able to play.
Even
right?
then, even if he was able to play, he's like the
not-
third or fourth best
Right.
choice on this team.
Yeah, agree.
Right.
And I saw people saying like, oh, this is just his agent pushing for trade bait. Nobody fucking cares if you're selected to the All-Star game. I'm sorry. Like, yeah, okay, for contracts, yeah, you say, oh, well, he was an all-star this year. But for trade bait, no,
As far as
absolutely not.
as far as trade value, if you go to like a trade and sign kind of thing, maybe.
Yeah.
But no, I'm with you. I thought for a minute that there was some influence from the Blues for them to pick for. It wasn't the Blues who picked them. It was who picked? It was someone from the NHL.
Well, it's the NHL that makes
The
pick,
NHL
right?
makes it for the
League
one
gave a
representative for each
committee.
team. I was wondering if there was some influence. This is total conspiracy stuff. I have no basis no proof for this, but maybe there was some influence from the Blues to pick Tarasenko, knowing that he was hurt and he wouldn't play. To maybe it's his like last year with the Blues, he can leave the team as an all-star, technically.
Yeah,
And then the Blues will then somebody else will go, like a Kyrou, in his place.
I hope it's Thomas.
And
I hope it's Mikola.
I hope they both go. I think Kyrou and Thomas should both go. And honestly, I think Bennington should get votes
Yes.
for this team because he has been a big part of this.
He won't
team.
go because the fans won't
Oh, no.
vote him in.
No, the fans will never vote
But
him in.
I think he is very deserving. You look at the rest of the Central.
If we're just
He's
talking
right there.
if we're just talking players from this team, you've got Thomas, Kyrou, Buchnevich, Bennington.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Who else?
Yeah. Problem for Bennington in the Central though is UC Saros just had a tear.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
And I'm not saying he should go
Right.
or challenge anybody from the division. I'm just saying from this team, guys who may deserve to go from this team
Right.
that should get consideration. I don't think he's number one, number two necessarily.
Who was picked for the Central goalie? Ottinger? Hellebuck. It was Hellebuck.
Hellebuck.
Okay, that's right.
And
Right.
he is
Rightfully so,
having
yeah.
he is having a hell of a season.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, I agree with you. I actually normally don't do this, but when I do the fan vote, I normally don't just like, oh, I'm going to pick Blues players. But like this year with Tarasenko being picked, I'm like, yeah, I'm picking all fucking Blues players for the Central because that's a terrible pick.
Yeah.
Like, no, I don't want to say terrible. He's had a fine year, but the fact that he's injured, the fact that there are better options for him,
Well, he'll get replaced.
he will.
Yeah.
Yeah. But still, and he'll be replaced by a Blues player.
Right. No,
Okay.
yes.
But
It's
still.
just- the NHL already said that. They said
Yeah.
like the day of he'll be replaced.
Yeah.
I think he's due to come back like that week.
Yeah. But he's not going to play in that.
I know. I think they pretty much said no, he's not going to play in the game. So
But I bet I'll be there because it's Miami where he lives in the off season.
Yep.
yeah, I don't know.
And where he'll probably wind up.
Yeah, it seems like Mrs. Tarasenko likes it down there.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, shit, I don't blame her.
I mean, you can't keep players forever. I like the guy. He had a great year last year. Taking a step down this year. Yeah, part of the cup. Big part of the cup team. A little step back this year compared to last year. But,
So who's going in his place?
I want Robert Thomas.
I think Thomas is the best pick.
I'd like to see it. I think I'd pick Thomas. I think Kyrou will get picked.
Kyrou's more flashy.
Yeah.
So I think they'll pick Kyrou.
Plus, he won the fastest skater last year, too.
Yeah.
Exactly. Right. He's a known quantity at that event.
Right. But to be honest, Robert Thomas doing the 3-on-3 games.
Yeah, who else is a
That's
dark
the guy.
horse? He's not going to go, but somebody I think that should at least get consideration, even though he's on a terrible Blues defense. Justin Falk.
Yeah,
he's had a fine year.
Yeah, he has. You're right. All right, boys. It's after midnight.
I think that'll do it.
Yeah, that'll do her.
This was fun.
Yeah.
Thanks for the gifts. You guys were.
Thank you guys.
Did a good job.
You guys did good.
Yeah, I might wear my kangaroo jersey home.
The pouch. Yeah, that's good stuff.
No, sorry, Ossifer. This is not a beer.
It's an IBC bottle root beer. Support for Let's Go Blues Radio is brought to you in part by ID Life, the world's only truly personalized vitamin platform based on a health assessment of your DNA. Visit rockinthatidlife.com for more information. That's rockinthatidlife.com and get 10% off by emailing Dustin at rockinthatidlife@gmail.com and tell him Let's Go Blues Radio sent you. And by Mike Burgoyne from Real Brokerage Realty. Visit strikewithmike.com today for all of your home buying and selling needs. That's strikewithmike.com. And by Center Ice Brewery, St. Louis's tasty hockey-themed beer. Check out your local beer vendors for availability. That's Center Ice Brewery beer. Please drink responsibly. That'll wrap up episode 16 of season 11 of the original St. Louis Blues Hockey Podcast, Let's Go Blues Radio. Thanks for listening, and thanks to those who participated in the YouTube and Facebook live chats during the live show. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we've enjoyed bringing it to you. For Jeff Ponder and Bill Dam, Kurt Price, until next time, everyone, suck it, Wyshynski. Let's go Blues.
Let's go Blues. Fuck off, Wyshynski.
Quack, quack. Quack. Let's go Blues.
Nice.
The Chiefs are at home tonight against Cyanosport at the War Memorial at 8. Good seats are still available.
A look at sports.
I think that went very well.
Thank you for listening to Let's Go Blues Radio. Now take off, hosers.
I want you to have a heart attack and die so that we never have to do this shit again.
Well, there's 90 minutes of your life you'll never get back. Sorry.
St. Louis Blues, St. Louis Blues. Have you heard the news about our St. Louis Blues? They've only just begun, they're on their way to number one. Now there's no more blues for our St. Louis Blues. The Blues are on the ice tonight.